Welcome back, everyone. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Shooter Lube, America's best gun care system. With the military-grade cleaning solvent, we have you cleaning your gun better than ever. Shooter Lube military-grade cleaning solvent is odorless. It has no water, fully evaporates, leaves no residue, has no hazardous ingredients per the EPA, has a high flash point, it's non-corrosive, and it does not freeze, nor is it motherfucking flammable. I don't know why I said it like that. That was stupid. The Extreme Weapons Oil, it's the second stage. It's a two-stage cleaning system, you guys. Extreme Weapons Oil is biodegradable, non-flammable, non-toxic, 100% synthetic. It has low odor, it's non-staining, offers rust and corrosion protection, and it reduces wear and friction. They also offer free shipping on orders over $35. Just go to shooterlube.com and use promo code SINGER to join the revolution and save 10%. They also offer a 100% money-back satisfaction guarantee. Forgot to mention that earlier. Also, you guys, if you haven't already, please slap thumbs up, smack that subscribe button, and punch that notification bell like it owes you money. That way you know when we post new content. Also helps the channel a ton. If you're listening just on audio or on any of the streaming platforms or whatever, please hit follow or subscribe. Leave a five-star review if you're feeling generous. It really does help us grow. And if you're feeling extra frisky, you can subscribe to the Patreon. Help us out. Patreon.com/JaredSingerLive. You can join for as low as $3 a month, you guys. This helps us maintain the gear, so if shit breaks down, all of a sudden we don't have to shut down the podcast because I don't have $5,000 laying around for a new computer or whatever the hell might happen. Also helps us expand for travel and bringing in bigger guests to pay for some larger expenses and things like that. It's not like I'm living here high and mighty after your guys' subscription. It all goes directly to help the show and help us do some cooler things, and at least at a minimum make sure that this thing doesn't come grinding to a halt because some gear broke down. So please make sure you guys do that if you haven't already. My guest for today is Sean Hill. He's been in a number of bands, including a former band with my current singer, Jeremy Montoya. We're going to talk a whole bunch of shit about my current singer, his old singer, Jeremy. Most of it's probably going to be me just making shit up, but other than that, I guarantee it's going to be a ton of fun. I hope you guys enjoy this. So with no further ado, Sean Hill. So, yeah, I mean, and then all of a sudden we're hanging out, and then that's when I realized Montoya's just like this huge Nazi sympathizer. I mean, fuck, dude.
You like poking the bear, don't you?
So what was it like being in the band with the biggest piece of shit on the planet?
Oh, we're going to go right after Montoya.
We're going right after Montoya. I texted him. I texted him and I said, Sean and I are about to go live and we're going to make up and talk so much shit about you. I warned him. I was like, I'm just going to make shit up.
Well, yeah, you clearly did to start the show. So.
No, that part's real. Thank you for coming down, brother. Cheers.
Yeah.
Don't cheers me with the water.
Yeah.
I don't think Mountain Dew's bad luck. But no, thank you for coming down, man. We've been talking about this for a while. You needed to wait. You had some shit going on. First of all, congratulations. It was a baby.
Yep. There is a baby.
That was the big one.
Yep.
Like literally when I hit you up, you were like, dude, I think you were either still expecting. It's about 6 months old, right? Your baby's about 6
7 months old. Yeah. So it was either right around the 8-month mark of like, well, it's coming soon and we're prepping, or the kid had just come out.
I think it was right around the birth. Like it was like within a week. On either side, like it was about to be born or had just been born within a week, something like that. So you were like, dude, not now. And then I think the other time I had talked to you, which was a little bit either before or after that, I can't remember this either, but you were doing this project that you're part of now, Mirror of Being.
Yes. Yeah,
and I think you were shooting a music video because I think that's when I was like, oh, I gotta have Sean on. I think I seen something on social media. You were shooting a music video.
We shot the music video. We posted some photos, and that's when you hit me up to say, hey, that looked cool.
Yeah.
Come on the show.
Yeah.
So,
but again, you were like, dude, I got too much shit going on. So we were finally able to make it happen, dude. And I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming down.
No, appreciate it. Good seeing you as well. So I know it's been a while.
It's been a very long time.
I have you in my phone as Jared Manager still.
That's awesome. I still have you in my phone as Sean Wither. I still haven't fucking... In fact, when I went to go program it, I was like, oh, I already have his phone number.
Yeah, same here.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened on this podcast. You know how it goes. Most people, I'm like, once we agree on a date and a time, I'm like, okay, cool. Shoot me your email and your phone number. I'll send out the Google invite and I'll follow up with a text. So I send out that email. And then all of a sudden, I go to text you guys, and like, I swear to God, 75% of the time, I'm like, I already have this person's phone number. I could have just texted them, like instead of trying to find them on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be weeks. Not everybody checks those messenger things.
No,
it'll be weeks before I hear back from somebody, and then I realize I had their phone number the whole time. So funny, but
funny.
Yeah. So you're in a new project, Mirror of Being.
Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't really call it new. It's probably been 6-7 years that I've been in it.
Well, it's new to me.
Yes, fair enough.
It's like a new car.
Yeah, well,
it's new to me.
At a certain point when you deal with Montoya or have been in bands in and out with Montoya for 10 years or however long that goes,
yeah,
it's weird to think that another band's starting to creep into that territory.
How'd this whole thing come together? Because I actually when I wrote the description, I had you were the guitar player. That's what I, Isuna, you were a guitar player, if I remember right.
Yep.
Backing vocals, and then same thing in Wither. So I was shocked to see you were the drummer. I had no idea you were a drummer. How long have you been?
I've drummed about as long as I played guitar. I just always took more of an interest in guitar when I was younger because I had the songwriting bug and I liked performing on stage. So guitar kind of suited me. I think as I got older, the songwriting bug kind of left me a little bit, and I just want to be an animal and pound on some stuff took over, and I found myself through my 20s, if you stick me in a room with a guitar or drums, I was playing drums 90% of the time. So
that's interesting because I get asked that quite a bit by my little brother and a lot of other people. Which one do you like better? And my brother always goes, and don't say they're different. Tell me which one you like better. And I'm like, they really are different. The guitar is very graceful and poetic and, fucking emotional. And drums are emotional too, but it's more primal. It's more aggressive. It's more physical. It's more athletic. Way different experience.
It is.
It's like WCW wrestling, figure skate. Both incredibly high bars of athleticism and all that kind of shit, but two completely different.
Yeah, because I think when I met you, I can't remember if you were a drummer at the time or a guitarist. I just remember you doing both.
I was definitely playing drums because I was fucking around with the Tyrants.
Yes, and that's what I remember you from. Did you have some of that, though, too, where you hit a point where, you know what, I wanted to turn off songwriting and just play drums and then go back to songwriting, or how did that work for you?
Good question. No, I think for me is what it was is I have this propensity to just be like, I want to do that. And then not only do I do it, but I put like a lot of time and energy into it and I take it really seriously. And 60-70% of the time I get half decent at it.
Yeah.
And that's all that was, is I was in a metal band as a vocalist actually. And I was just like, I want to play drums in a rock band. But like, I want to make the drums like awesome, like fucking badass instead of the old school shitty boom, tap, boom, tap, boom,
right.
tap. No offense to AC/DC, but those drums are fucking boring to play.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, but this music is badass. So somebody should do this style of rock music with awesome drums. That was it. That was the only reason. And then as I did it more and more, I realized I loved and always wanted to play drums. I just really enjoyed it because I definitely helped write the songs and shape the songs, and I enjoyed doing it from that avenue because it was I'd always been frustrated with drummers as a guitar player not writing good drums, like just like writing shitty drum parts or like not understanding how a song is written. It was exciting for me to step into that situation and be the solution to that.
I think I've had the opposite problem. I've been blessed by playing with too many good drummers where I never had to really fill that void.
Who drummed for Isuna, that first band?
John Nelson.
Do you remember us playing a show together, you and I?
Yes.
Way back at Star Central?
Yep.
Way back in the day.
Sure
do you remember the other band on that bill? There was one more. There was like six bands, but there was like one other like good band.
There was an indie band or almost indie or alt rock band I'm trying to think of. For the name
I just found the T-shirt. I still have the Elusive. It was a band called Elusive.
Yeah.
I was digging through my my T-shirt drawer. You know, summer's coming. You start switching out your wardrobe. Yep. And so I go into the bottom drawer, the clothes you never wear over the winter.
Right.
And I'm digging through shit. And Elusive, that's that fucking band. Because I've been trying to remember that band's name forever, dude. Forever. Yeah. And I remember you and somebody were playing poker backstage.
The whole band
about
did
Jeremy's
besides
vocals.
Jeremy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Just bitching about Jeremy, how much of a pain in the ass piece of shit he was. Too many harmonies.
I love the too many harmonies.
Constantly jacking off in the rehearsal space. You guys are walking in on him. He's either working out or jerking off.
I can see we're keeping this PC tonight.
I mean, it's Montoya we're talking about.
It's funny.
Hey, shout out to Diggs.
It's funny you bring up Jeremy and his harmonies. I actually prefer the old Jeremy tracking with all the harmonies. The new Jeremy where it's got less of it. I kind of like the more Jeremy, the better.
Yeah.
On my tracks. So,
especially if his first name's Ron.
Oh, Jesus. No, Jeremy's good stuff.
Speaking of jacking off,
oh, Jesus.
Did you? All jokes aside, did you hear about this David Ellefson thing?
No.
So like somebody tried to Me Too him, but it wasn't even the girl that he like did shit with. And it was totally consensual, but Dave Mustaine already kicked him out of Megadeth.
Oh, he was the bassist they just kicked out of Megadeth? Yeah, I was wondering about that post where they're like, it's an official Megadeth post with Dave Mustaine's name on it, and he says, I don't really know much about the situation. It's like, come on. You just booted him from the band. You know exactly about the situation.
And it quickly came out. The girl was like, I'm the girl. It was completely me. I initiated it. It was totally consensual. I was above age. I wasn't a minor. I made the mistake of sharing it with one of my friends without Dave's permission, and that person went public with it. Oh, yeah. See, this is fucking wrong. Like, that dude's life is ruined. You know what I mean? He lost his band. He probably already lost sponsorship. Coffee company and whatever the fuck else he was doing.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the situation, or I haven't read the article, so I'll have to check that out afterwards.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I seen her post. I seen her public statement. He went on Twitter and made it. I'm the girl, blah, 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 blah. Sensual, I was above age. I initiate. And then she's just like straight up, I'm the one that made the mistake of sharing it with one of my friends without Dave's permission.
Nah. Well, I think
too
at
late.
That point,
you're already kicked out of Megadeth, bud.
Well, at that point, Megadeth's looking for a reason to boot you out.
That's what it seemed like to me.
If they're not willing to investigate what truly happened.
That's what it seems like to me.
So,
seems like they were already having issues again, and Dave was looking for a reason to kick Dave out.
Yeah, Dave's Dave.
Dave is a real piece of shit. Which one are we talking about?
Yeah. It's the Mustaine.
I don't know what it is about Dave Mustaine, but he does just kind of rub me the wrong way. He just, as much as I admire him, much as I admire Megadeth, something that just kind of bugs me about him, and always has.
I think it got me when he has that opening song lyric of "Hey me, it's me again," and he does it in the most annoying voice I think you can ever capture.
That's not how he. That's not how he opens the song. He opens the song. He goes, "Hello, me, meet the real me."
Either way,
way of life.
I'm glad you remember every.
I remember every
bit
lyric of that entire album. I could sing it front to back as it plays, dude. I loved that album.
Oh, I'm sure some of my bandmates will kill me right now for not remembering it, but that's all right.
Are you a Megadeth or a Metallica guy?
Much more Metallica. With that said, also not that much of a Metallica guy anymore.
Okay.
I mean,
that's okay. Dude, for me especially, there's no right or wrong answer to these things, but these are classic tropes, that you're supposed to pick a side,
Oh, yeah.
So you're Metallica versus Megadeth. Okay. Are you Pantera or Slayer?
Pantera.
Okay. So, and I bet you're Pantera more than Metallica.
I would say Metallica, but I would say Metallica ran its course with me.
Okay.
where, hey, they were great 20 years ago.
Whereas Dimebag died, so they never had a chance to run their course with
right.
anyone. They're like the Beatles, when John Lennon died, it was like, no reunions happening. There isn't going to be, you know what I mean? 'Cause you know damn well if John Lennon didn't die, even without, because Ringo died, right? Ringo's dead. Pretty sure Ringo Starr died.
I only
Isn't
knew
Paul McCartney
McCartney.
the only living remaining
That's-
Beatle anyway?
That's the only one I consider living at this point, whether it's true or not.
John, Ringo, Paul, and who's the fourth Beatle?
George.
Oh, yeah, George.
That took me a minute.
I know, me too. Me too. It's like, oh my God, what's happening right now? I'm pretty sure they're all dead, except Paul.
Well, even McCartney's got to be, 80-something or
But-
right around there.
But here's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, if John Lennon was still alive, they would have done a reunion some time ago, and
Sometime
Paul
in our
and John
lifetime, yeah.
would still be trying to regurgitate shit now. Whereas in their case and in Dime's case, they never had that chance.
Yeah.
Unlike Metallica, who just
They-
keeps putting out shit,
Yeah.
Which
And
honestly-
it is literally that at this point.
Honestly, I liked Death Magnetic a lot. That new one, Hardwired, just, I don't know, man. There's a couple cool parts. There's a couple cool songs, man. But, like, I don't know. I think James needs to start drinking again or something, man. Because this sober music they're putting out ain't very tantalizing.
I'm surprised with all the production value. I think they've gone the other way where they've had their stuff so overly produced where they've felt like, hey, we want to go the other direction because we can.
Well, how do you feel about Lars as a drummer?
I think the way most people do, where back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, it was like, yeah, that's a good drummer. After that, it certainly became, oh, wait, some kind of monster comes out and you see him live. You see him live and you're like, oh, this is the kind of guy you get. How much of that studio magic?
Yeah, that's fair. Because as a songwriter, because most people just immediately go to his playing, like technical proficiency.
Right.
But what he did, now when I'm referring as a songwriter, is his impact on the song structures. Like, hey, we should play that 2 more times. That kind of shit. Like that infamous scene in A Year in the Life of Metallica or whatever. A year and a half in the life of. Where Kirk comes to him with the original Enter Sandman riff, but it's dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And fucking Lars goes, dude, play that first part 3 times and then do the dun 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 dun. So here's what I ask you: who really wrote that riff?
Well,
You see what I'm getting at here? Without
that's-
Lars, that riff sticks with the, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, in my mind right there, Lars is the superior songwriter to Kirk, because Kirk wrote this riff, but Lars is the guy that helped make it a song. Does that make sense? And I'm not asking you to agree with me. I just want to make sure I don't sound like a lunatic right now. Because this is how I separate the two. So go ahead.
No, to me, I completely agree, but this is also why I prefer writing in groups, and that's a good beer.
It's not bad. Yeah. I've never had it before. I saw it as I was checking out Berry Blonde by Liftbridge.
Maybe that will be the beer I drink tonight.
It's not bad.
Exactly the reason why I like writing in groups. Instead of having a dominating one songwriter,
right,
and then no one else gives input, or you just hire out giggers.
Right.
That's, to me, yeah, Lars didn't write that riff, but he helped write the song and made it good. So
and then
there's value there.
And then when you go backwards to like the verses of the drums that he was writing in songs like One, where he wasn't playing the same beat 4 bars in a row,
Right.
articulating with these weird open hi-hats, double snare hits, and it was an actual part of the band. It was an instrument in the band instead of just part of the rhythm section.
Yeah, I think most of the music community likes what Lars did to change the way music was back then. I just think Lars became his own worst enemy with the Napster stuff, he certainly made himself very unlikable
I think you're right. Yeah. He put himself in the right position to just not be liked.
Yes.
There's a lot of that shit caught on camera too.
Yeah.
I remember he's doing an interview and there's like a side camera, B camera, the B-roll camera, whatever it's called. And they're doing this interview and they stop the interview because somebody calls. Right. So they stop that and they're just going to like punch it back in and edit it. And they're going to jump back in. And that's this camera. Right. There's another camera off to the side where you kind of see him sitting there and he's like, we're doing an interview. Hi. like he's so irritated and it's just like, I get your point. Like you're super pressed for time and like people really need to be on their game because everybody's working for a living. Like we're not hanging out just having fun. It's like, especially back then, you got a label to got publishers, promoters, and radio stations. You're making this documentary. You got to get sleep. You got to work out. You got to fucking do all of these things in the course of writing and promoting the Black Album of all albums, the biggest album, while Metallica had either just already done or was about to do that fucking Moscow show. You know, remember that one?
Yep.
They are so pressed for time. Literally every minute counts. You hear time is money all the time. So I get it, but it's kind of like my boy Diggsy was saying in the last podcast. He got to meet and hang out with Randy Moss. He got to know him pretty well. And Randy was a very focused guy. So when he was hanging out with you and then somebody else wanted to come up and take a picture, he'd be like, okay, you get this one, but I don't want to see any of those other motherfuckers suddenly think that they get to come take a picture because I'm hanging out with my boy Sean. Right. And then somebody else would walk up at that moment and go, hey, can I get a picture? And he'd be like, nope. And they'd be like, wow, what a dick. He'd be like, no. Because and you've been in a band. You know what that's like. You finally invite somebody to a show. They finally come out. They get a babysitter. They're hanging out. They get some drinks. They look good. It's fucking a big night for them. They come out to support you and to see your band. You guys fucking crush it. The house is packed. And all of a sudden, you finally find them. But it's also, because it's packed, there's 30, 40, 50 different people. Oh, hey, can I buy you a drink? Hey, can I get a picture? Hey, can you fucking blah, blah? And so all of a sudden, a couple days later, you're like, you get a call, and these friends are like, what the fuck, man? You know, we came out to your show, and you, like, hung out with us for, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then they don't want to come back again.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, it's not necessarily the easiest thing, and I think that Lars got caught on camera with a lot of those. And then I think the Napster thing, because I do just disagree with him about the Napster thing, the industry was changing. Music is now essentially free.
Yeah.
You pay for access to music through streaming services, but the music essentially is free if you pay your $15 a month or whatever.
And you get garbage money through the streaming services.
But it's just another promotional tool because now you make way more money playing shows than you would have back. And you make more money on merch. You don't even have to invest money in merch anymore. Now just fucking mock up shit, put it on your website, and it's made to order. Yep. Yeah. So like we just have to shift our business mindset and our acumen as to where we're going to get our money from. It's almost like we've gone back to the 50s and 60s model. You don't get paid for shit when it comes to album sales. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
But we just got to adapt. I'm done lecturing people and yelling at people and being like, "Oh, you guys are fucking done." I'm done doing that. I'm sorry, you guys. My point is like it's still a possibility. I know bands that are killing it financially. Patreon, YouTube, fucking Twitch, all kinds of cool shit.
YouTube. I mean, that's a perfect point to bring up. Bands like one of my new favorite ones is Spirit Box, and it's just like they don't. I think they're finally coming out with an album, but all they've been is write a song, make a music video, and then pump it until you get enough likes or money out of it, and they're doing other stuff online to support that, but it doesn't seem like they're doing anything with album sales. They're doing everything through YouTube clicks.
Yep. Yeah, shout out to Diggs. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Shout out to Nick Durkin. Nick's actually been on the podcast a couple times. Ringo is still alive. Sorry, guys. Then I think isn't it George Harrison? Is that his?
Yeah. And
he's dead then.
So
it's just Ringo and Paul then.
Yeah, I don't have any confirmation on that or
real. They will. The Jamies will do it. They're not real. They're not fans because fans is kind of like they're not a part of this. They're a part of this because we don't have a producer, right? So they're not just fans and listeners. They're our producers. So when we need something to look up, like I'll be like this, hey, you know what? Jamie's, look that up. And then I press this little button, boom, and it'll pop up here in a second because there it is. Jamie's, pull that up. Boom. See?
Looks like my cousin chimed in and George is gone.
Shout out to Klauth and shout out to Sarah. Thank you for clarifying that, Sarah. True Jamie right there. True Jamie.
Yeah, I see the post for if Mustaine was still in Metallica. I'd agree. They probably would be a much better band, but I don't know if they would still be a band if
I'm also convinced they wouldn't have gotten as successful.
No, Mustaine would have blown it up.
Yeah, because exactly. And not only that, but is what needed to happen for that band was they needed, because we've briefly talked about this, just you and I now, about like the primary songwriter versus writing in a group. And I agree with you. That's why I've never, as much as I do write the music for this project, it's still not the Jared Singer project for a reason. Because my belief is it also becomes one-dimensional. But I also know for a fact if all 5 members have true equal say, you're going to end up writing shit music, right? But if it's only one guy writing everyone's music, it's going to be completely one-dimensional.
Yeah.
There's a balancing act there. And I think Dave is too much of an alpha songwriter to have allowed Cliff and James and Lars to really be the songwriters that they needed to be.
Yeah.
So when Dave left and you brought in somebody a little bit more, a lot more passive, like Kirk, who just kind of like wrote his solos and fucked off, per James, you allowed James and Kirk to really dig into the music theory and that kind of shit without a guy like fucking Dave meddling. And then you also had the space for a guy like Lars to come in, help structure the songs. And that's where I think Metallica's far superior, is their song structures. Like Dave Mustaine, a lot of things are in loops. There's some progressive and bizarre changes and stuff like that. But I don't think they were as progressive musically. Like, even then, when they were messing with timing, it's not as sophisticated, I guess would be the word. I don't know. Metallica seemed like the more mature band in their execution, in their sound, in their style. I don't know. Maybe they were doing better drugs or different drugs. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but for me, that's just my stupid personal opinion. And I do think it's fun to ask them. Because motherfuckers will get mad. Metallica or Megadeth. You'd be like, Metallica, they'll be like, well, you're dead to me.
It's funny because the bandmates will play a Metallica riff, especially Adam. I don't know if he's going to watch this or not, but yeah, he'll play a Metallica riff just to piss me off.
That's awesome. Speaking of the current band, so you said this band's been going for about 6 or 7 years. Is that how long you've also been in the band?
I think I joined the band a year in.
Okay, so you didn't start it.
I didn't start it, no. I work with the bassist, and the bassist approached me one day like, hey, we either need a guitarist or a drummer.
Which one do you want to do?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was kind of that, and he's like, whatever you want to bring to practice. And I was like, I don't know.
Did they have a demo yet?
They had 1 or 2 songs recorded, so I kind of knew that, hey, I could play drums to this, but at the same time, it was going to be a stretch trying to play metal as a drummer. With that said, I'm not the fastest picking guitarist. I'm kind of let me play my 5 chords and write a little ditty versus like let's shred. Sure. So it made more sense for me to show up with a drum kit and see if I could match them. And
it's pretty cool that you can do that though, because you've been in 3 very different bands. Between Asuna and Wither the Tide, those were very different bands.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying as in like one was a hip hop act, one was a rock act. That's not what I mean by that. What I'm saying is like Asuna was basically a real band that Jeremy joined.
Yep.
And then
I mean, he kind of helped found it, but he really wasn't as much of a founding member.
And it was kind of like a rock / alternative indie rock, hard rock thing. It wasn't like heavy.
No, it wasn't truly heavy. It was definitely like poppy or industrial. I don't know, like your Linkin Park age style
there you go,
stuff.
Yeah, but it wasn't like nu metal either. It wasn't even like pop nu metal. Pop. It wasn't anything like that. It was actually pretty cool. It was actually extremely unique, especially that early in our careers. I mean, fuck, dude, that was 20 years ago.
not many people were using samples back then. So, I mean, we took it over from Subnormal.
Right.
Same drummer from Subnormal, and Jeremy's got his brother in Subnormal, and they were using samples. So we took that technology and brought it to Asuna. And at that time, no local bands were really playing with click tracks live and feeding samples through. So it felt more powerful live back then. And we pretty much knew walking into shows, like, unless they just had a turd sound system, we were going to sound huge, and we were probably going to sound more full than a lot of bands back then.
The only
because
thing
of the
I
samples.
didn't like was that I could hear your click track coming. For some reason, you guys chose to make that move.
No, that shouldn't have been a move.
That drove me nuts, because I came and seen you guys a couple times after that, and I always stood on the side of the stage by the sound bar, or not the sound bar, by the by the sound bar. That's hilarious. Oh fuck. By the sound booth, specifically the side stage one, and because that's where I always thought the everything sounded the best. I got the best balance of like the actual performance from the band. I got the monitor mix coming back. I got a little bit of the PA mix, and then I could also see how the crowd was interacting with the band. And I enjoy that show much more than just being in the crowd looking up at the band. Is like, you'll notice me if we ever hang out and shit, you'll see me turn around and look backwards. People are like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, I'm watching the crowd. Like, I want to see how people are feeling this. Are they into it as much as I am? Or am I the only one who's bored? Whatever I'm experiencing, I want to, like,
That's the signs of a performer.
You know what I mean?
You're watching the crowd.
I'm doing the whole thing, dude. I'm, it's whatever.
No, I mean, that's definitely $30 technology back then. If you can hear the click track through the speakers.
Somebody just
Stuff
stopped like
we
a
had to go-
metronome at Guitar Center
Yeah.
and said, dude, throw this through the monitor. Sorry.
A little bit more than that, but it was all loading tracks onto like an iPod, and you click play on an iPod, and
I don't think the crowd could hear it. It just drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I get it if you have to, but I still believe only the drummer should hear it. Like, if you
I agree.
have to play to a live click track, I don't even think the rest of the band should be allowed to hear it. I think
I didn't hear
only
it.
the drummer should be allowed.
that's how we had it set up, only drummer. And
That's
that's same
smart.
with Wither.
Yeah.
Rich was the only one with a click track. In his
Speaking
ear.
of, so you come out of Isuna, you go into this other project, which is basically Jeremy's Monster. A little
Yeah, it was-
different than what I'm doing, but also very similar. Whereas in, like, it's his project, he's basically writing everything. But you had a
Yeah.
really unique role too, right? Because you would come in and basically turn his melodies into real guitar riffs, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would say when I got invited back, it was Asuna 2.0. I mean, we were playing old Asuna songs to get stuff back together. So as far as I was concerned, it was still my band and not Jeremy's band. And somewhere along the lines, I would say
remember-
that started to...
I remember hating managing you guys because all of you, except you, were super pains in my ass. Like, you were cool as fuck. I remember going to have a beer with you. You remember this? We went out and had a beer one
Yeah,
night.
the meeting,
Because
yeah.
I wanted to go out and just get to know each one of you one-on-one and, like,
Yeah, what was that bar we went to?
I don't remember, but I remember. You remember what I told you that night? Because I remember what I told you that night. I said, yeah, just ignore Jeremy. Just stop listening to him altogether. Here's what I want, right? And I was like, because I saw this fire in you on stage. And I was like, just fucking let go, dude. Like, I see you, like, contained, because Jeremy's like, no, you need to just, like,
Yeah, Jeremy
fucking
wanted
tell
to
Jeremy
tone
to
it
fuck
down.
off. You know, I wanted to, like, fucking amplify you. And the very next show you did exactly. And I was like, that's the shit I'm talking about, dude. It was awesome. Fucking awesome. But even Rich, one of my very best friends, still to this day, he's been on the podcast. He even knows back then. It was like, dude, he was a pain in the ass. Jeremy was a pain in the ass. Because you guys were bringing up, and I say you guys because I'm speaking of the band.
Yeah.
You guys would bring up the most just bizarre shit and the most bizarre takes. And I just remember thinking, like, this is what we're spending our time and energy on? Like, you guys have so much work to do, and there's so many jobs to be done. And then the final nail in the coffin was Rich was used to Bill Berry, who was, like, at every rehearsal, almost like another band member.
Yeah.
But I managed bands how I wanted to, which meant you're not a fucking band member. You're the manager. Get the fuck out of rehearsal. Go make network connections. Go out to other shows. Go meet fucking producers. Put shit together. Be out there doing shit. I don't want a pseudo producer / band member as my manager. Rich was like, well, yeah, and then, we need, like, you should be at every rehearsal and, like, running our social medias. And I'm like, you guys need an assistant, not a manager. That was, like, the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, so the joke is I managed you guys for a cup of coffee. That's the running joke.
It felt like that was the length of time you managed us for. So, no, I mean, Jeremy, I got no bad blood with Jeremy. I actually enjoyed every minute of it, even through the painful stuff.
I actually like his fucking weird ass, as difficult and goofy as he is, and I call him out on it all the time. God, you're so fucking weird.
Yeah, well,
but that's exactly what you want out of
as we've gotten older, it's gotten easier to say, like, hey,
fucking weirdo.
I know. I mean, when you're in your 20s, everyone's still trying to figure it out. I was figuring it out.
And isn't it weird how in your 20s, if you tell somebody, dude, you're being a fucking cunt right now, they're like, hey, man, why are you going to talk to me like that? But by the time you're 40 and you go, dude, you're being a cunt right now, they're like, am I? Isn't that weird how that happens? Like you're more confident and you're more willing to call somebody else out, and they're also more humble and much more willing to take it. But until you hit 30, it's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Right. Fuck you, motherfucker. Oh. Now you're just like, fuck, you're right. I am being a cunt. Sorry, guys. And then you just calm down.
Oh.
No, I like getting older. Because you look good, by the way, for your age.
Thanks.
I look good for my age. Jeremy looks good for his age. All the things people complain about as they get older, so far I'm not in that running. Even coming up on 40. I like getting older. I'm more mature. I'm calmer. I think I'm slightly more likable, like one more likable than I used to be.
You've leveled up.
One level. In 20 years, I'm one better.
Right. The Wither the Tide stuff was, I don't know, it was trickier back then because we were a 3-piece. And to me, that felt like that was still my main band. And, I think there was a certain point where Jeremy started taking over more. He was writing a lot more in the off season, and yeah, I mean, he would come with ideas and sometimes guitar parts written and be like, "Here's the bones of it. Do what you want to do."
So it was mostly the drums then, kind of what I was describing, because he would have these, like, I've heard those original Wither demos, that he wrote, and because he sends me songs
need like
now,
Goro arms to,
and it's hilarious how cheesy they sound, but knowing his process, it's breathtaking to watch him go from those cheesy sounding demos to like a pre-production demo to a finished album. And it's like, dude, wow, that fucking is incredible. Like, you have to have some real fucking true creative genius level vision to be able to go from that seed to that tree. Most people end up with a shitty looking half dead shrub when they start at that. You know what I mean? Like, most guys that end up with that oak tree at the end started with like something really good to begin with, like high quality, highly thought out, they're starting on a real instrument and fucking blah. But this dude will start off with like the most basic shit I've heard, like I said, and just I don't know it. I'm going to throw the disclaimer out there. I might be wrong, but I cannot currently think of another musician that, including myself, that has that much creative vision to go from such a simple idea and then hear the different versions of it. Like that fucking New Chemical album.
Yeah.
Some of those songs, I've heard some of those original demos.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mind-blowing that they came from that tiny little seed on that little, what does he do it on, like a little Casio keyboard? Because it sounds like...
And programs it. I mean, at the end of the day, I like Jeremy singing a lot. It's his programming and all the stuff you don't hear on some of those songs that are in the background that are phenomenal. Like, he would come with some basic guitar parts for me to learn and like adapt, but his ability to write samples to me has always been ahead of the curve.
I don't shout out to Mike. Mike's got a question. He said, when I came to see you guys live,
my singer,
how did I like your guys' set? How did I feel? I don't think I seen you guys. So when I was talking about this, it was just like, the proverbial Like when I come to check out any band, that's usually where I stand. And when I was referring to that earlier, it was back when I was seeing Asuna.
Yep.
I came to see you guys again, and there was still that click coming through those monitors.
Yep.
And I don't know how long you ran with it, but it drove me nuts to where I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. Because I'm such like an arrogant purist about certain things, like I'm still a tube amp guy. I'm like, oh, modeling amp, fuck you. And I get it. I'm wrong. It's just my opinion. But I say these things as fact. I'm also irritated by people like that. I get it. I get it. So just don't listen to me. I don't actually know what I'm talking about.
No, Mikey, thanks for taking a listen. I'm sure we'll talk more mob stuff here in a little bit.
Yeah. So, just let me know when you guys are playing a show. Throw me on the fucking list, and I'll try to make it out, dude.
Yeah.
I need to get out there more anyways, and I have no problem coming to check out more bands But we do have a couple tracks to play. Yeah. So this is a good segue into that. So coming out of Wither, I kind of just wanted to talk about your musical journey a little bit. So it was just very interesting because they're very different musical bands, totally different styles. I think the roles you played in each one were dynamically different, even if they're not completely different.
Yep.
And then now in this group, how much time did you spend coming out of Wither before you joined this group? You said they were around about a year or two already.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
So how much were you like in limbo musically?
That was a tough year and a half, where it's like, am I going to play music again? Am I not? I suppose other mentions along the musical journey. It was Asuna until about 2006-ish, and then that disbanded. I pretty much immediately uprooted my life and took it to Arizona to finish college. And out in Arizona, it didn't take me more than a month to find other musicians and join a band down there.
Why Arizona?
At that point, I'd been out there like 4 times in a year to visit with friends and other people. And I needed to finish college, and I've taken a year and a half off to actually do Asuna.
So basically, there was just enough there was just enough familiarity to be comfortable in Arizona, but it was also just the opposite enough weather and scenario and scene where you thought you were going to be able to go do something else, but it didn't take you long before you fell right back in.
Oh yeah, no. Unfortunately, Tucson it had some of a music scene. But it was tough to find musicians out there, and if Dave Kress is listening, he's another singer/drummer that I've been lucky to work with. But he's another one where it's just like, pick whether you want to be a singer or a drummer.
He's probably not listening, just so you know. No one
probably
actually
not. He might go back and
no
listen.
one actually ever watches or listens.
He's the kind of guy that might actually tune in.
Shout out to that guy.
Phenomenal drummer and singer as well. But I ran my course in Arizona, and I think I told Jeremy the second I made the decision to move out of Arizona, and he was like, yeah, let's start it back up. So literally I came back from Arizona and like in a week was having band practices with Jeremy again. That lasted, I think, 2-ish, maybe 3 years. And then that ran its course. And it was a long year and a half. I should say that during Wither, I joined Beautiful Trigger, which was another fun band. That
terrible name though. That's a terrible band name though. It was a good band. I played shows with that band.
Yeah, and we opened up for Hairball.
It's just not a good name though. Like Beautiful Trigger, like that's just close your eyes and imagine that name headlining the biggest. No.
Yeah.
It's not. No.
Yeah. I still had a lot of fun with them.
More people need to fucking have the balls to say no to like proposed band name ideas. And I get it. It's fucking hard to come up with a band name. I remember, shout out to Nick Durkin, who I don't know if you're still watching this, buddy, but we were in a band together way back in the day, and they proposed this band on site because he drove by like a construction company, and it was like something not allowed on site. They were like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And I was like, that's a fucking terrible name. Like literally it sounds like non-point, and it sounds like we're trying to be non-point, but we can't think of anything. So we started with non-point and worked backwards to on-site. Even though that's not true, that's what it sounds like to me. And like, Oh God, I hated that band name. They kicked me out over that. They kicked me out of that band over that. Here's the thing. I ended up being right though. It was a terrible fucking band name.
Yeah.
More bands need a guy like me. And I kept proposing more band names. This is where it went the wrong way. Is I kept proposing more band names, and then they're like, it just seems like you want like you to be the guy who comes up with it. And I'm like, no. But if I'm gonna shit on bad ideas, I need to be willing to also come up with ideas, even if they're bad.
Yeah.
And
otherwise, you're just a complainer.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly because I've done that to other people where we've been sitting there brainstorming, and all they do is shoot down ideas. And after about a half hour, it does start to rub you.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, listen, dude, if you're going to shit on everyone's ideas, that's fine. But you better start fucking coming up with some shit. Because, like, you better fucking start contributing, man. Because otherwise, you're just coming off as a hater, bro. Like, this is a brainstorming session.
I mean, I remember band name discussions taking weeks or months. And at a certain point, at a certain point, you just got to pick one.
We still haven't completely decided. We still haven't even decided if we're going to be the rivalry or if we're going to be rivalry.
I still think it's rivalry.
You still think? See, and it's literally fucking tied. You guys, put in chat, vote for me. Everybody who watches this video for the next X amount of times, and yes, I know it's probably glitching a little bit right now. There's nothing I can do about it. It's nothing coming from my internet. It's something probably going weird with Comcast or some shit. The frame rate's dropping, and I don't really understand why. There's nothing I can do about it, though. But you guys should still be able to hear me fine. Here's what I want to know. The rivalry or rivalry? Which one sounds better? And yeah, I'll play you a song later because we only got a couple for your band. But speaking of that, you said it was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
In between bands, and you weren't doing anything. You were contemplating not doing music.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little tricky. I knew I still wanted to do some music, but there was definitely a time where it's like, oh, well, I'm 30-ish plus now. Oh, there you go. And the rest of life was starting to pick up. And you start to have that feeling of like, oh, crap, it's been a long year of no music. You know, is this going to be my life now?
Yeah.
And fortunate enough to run into Ty at work, our bass player, and he was just like, dude, I got a metal band. And I'm like, well, let me take a listen, but I'm not traditionally metal. I'm more industrial hard rock or whatever you want to call it. And took a listen. I was like, it's still groovy. It's still, it's more screaming than I'm used to, but it's also some of the same vein of music I like. So let's give it a shot.
Perfect.
And Mikey,
and you
I
picked
think
drums instead of guitar.
I did. I only brought drums to practice, and thankfully they thought I was decent enough to hang around, which is quite phenomenal because there are actually some really freaking good guitarists.
Shout out to everybody who's jumping in and hanging out with us. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit subscribe if you haven't already, or join the Patreon if you have and you fucking got a couple extra bucks. Make sure you can help us. Equipment breaks down and all that kind of shit. We're not being a rivalry, Dalton. Stop muddying the fucking waters. That's my guitar player, you son of a bitch. We're not going to be a rivalry because we're not muddying the waters.
Might be the new the.
Oh, fuck you guys. Oh, my God, you're the fucking worst. Oh, I'm going to kill you all with my bare hands.
And then you got to have the argument of whether it's a rivalry or a rivalry.
Oh, fuck you guys. I hate my life. Oh, my God. This is okay. You know what? Mute. We're playing We're playing your band. Here's, right. We're done. We're wrapping this up. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll be your quickest podcast.
The fucking first one to ever not go 90 minutes. I actually kind of want to wait until this buffering comes back. I don't like how it's dropping this frame rate. In fact, is what I'm going to try real quick. I'm going to try something a little bit old school we've done to fix some issues in the past. If you guys are watching live, don't go anywhere. You're going to see this thing drop out and die, and it's going to lag out for a minute, and then we're going to jump back in. So don't go anywhere. Don't hit refresh. You're going to see the little thing spin. Give us a few seconds. We'll be right back. I've had a... Yeah, see, it's still doing it down there. Weird. We might have to wait a few minutes. It's 7:21. It might just be like there's too many people in my area on the internet.
That's fair.
My personal connection is supposed to be the shit. But every once in a while,
Have
it
you
gets weird.
confirmed that with Comcast?
Yeah, and like if I tested the speed right now, I'd probably be like, "Oh, you're great," but we're uploading instead of downloading, and if there's enough people doing shit,
That's fair.
I'm sure
we
it'll
back
kick back
online?
in. Yeah, we're back.
Sweet.
I don't even remember what.
We were talking about
Yeah,
mouse
see, it's
stuff.
a
We
little
were gonna,
glitchy up there. You can see it.
We're going to play a video, but I suppose at a certain point we can go through the mob history. But yeah, Ty and I met at a work party, like a Christmas work party, where we both probably had more than our share to drink. And actually, that was the same work party where I met my wife. So that was a good night.
Do you know Dusty Eisman? Shout out to Dusty in chat.
Yeah. Played.
Do you know Dusty?
Yeah, Common
high
Choir.
maintenance. So high maintenance. He's just like, he comes in, drops a couple comments. I'm leaving. Like, it's what do we got to do to keep your attention, Dusty? Like, what is it that you're so cool? As my friend, also been on the podcast, by the way, where you can come in, talk shit, and then you're leaving.
And announce it to everyone.
Yeah,
hey,
dude, what do we got to do to satisfy the Dustin?
He's probably not even going to turn it back on to watch this conversation.
He's probably like, I'm leaving, and left.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of dude he is. He cracks me up. When we work together, he'd walk up, and he'd just be like, what's up, dude?
Am I right in saying Common Choir? It was his band?
Common Choir sounds, or Common Choir, something.
Yeah.
Pay me. Fuck you.
So he's still listening.
He used to walk up and he'd be like, what's up, dude? I'd be typing emails and shit. I'd be like, just working, man. What's up with you? And then all of a sudden he'd like unplug my monitor and just be like, suck it, nerd. And then walk away.
Those are the fun stories.
Love that guy. I love that guy so much. But he's always like that. He's always like fucking high maintenance, impossible to please. Fucking everything's boring. Fuck you, Dusty.
Well, that's how you know you're probably dealing with a good musician. Because if everything's boring, they're not writing boring stuff.
Seriously, I just want to know what the hell's going on with this frame rate. Because if I were watching right now, I'd probably be getting real fucking irritated.
No, I suppose end of the day, met Ty. Ty had me over to Mark, our guitarist's house. At that time, they had already, I think, had Mikey in the band. Mikey, hands down, one of the best screamers I've ever dealt with. And then we had a long search for a second guitarist, and I think at a certain point it was a question whether we would do a second guitarist or not, and then we ended up with Adam, and Adam definitely shares some of my hard rock love as well and has brought that to the band, which has been nice. Yeah.
And it sounds like you were just kind of looking for a situation where there was no pressure on you to come up with riffs, right? Be the generator. You're the contributor. Other guys are the providers of the riffs and the song base.
Yep.
And then you're able to just do a job now.
Yeah, which has been nice, especially as you get older and now you have 2 kids and a wife and a full-time job, and it's just kind of I still want to play music and I still want to feel like I'm part of that collaborative effort, but I don't want to be the guy staying up till 1 a.m. drudging over a riff I've been trying to get out for 3 hours.
And you've always had a decent job.
Yep.
And seems like you like being married and being a dad.
I do.
So why do you still do music publicly? Like, what's the motivation there? Because if it can't just be a love of music, otherwise you'd just be in some band with your buddies in the neighborhood and you'd never leave your basement. There's still something in you that wants, and this is a theme that's run through the podcast.
Yep, I've heard this argument, and I'll
a
try
fourth
and
one, by the way.
that.
There's a fourth one, by the way. And John, shout out to John Wheeler. He's the one that came up with this. He's like, yes, it's either money, fame, pussy, but you're forgetting the other one, Jared, which is power. And that's
there's definitely power.
Yeah, or like access, whatever. So
I do think the fifth one is love of music.
No, but that's why we do it in general. That's just why you don't quit.
Sure.
Like, you shouldn't be doing music at all if you don't fucking love it. But why we still, so for me, it's not, but it falls under fame. It's not actually fame. It's peer recognition. So when I know musicians or look up to musicians or whatever, having them be like, dude, you also rock. is the coolest feeling you could ever feel, for me at least, right?
Yeah, if you're getting it from a musician that you look up to, and then they also reaffirm that for you, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's what. So that for me just falls under fame.
Right.
Is that what it is for you? Still, is like you still like?
I love
kinda need that?
performing. I love performing, and I like writing music. Even though I'm not truly writing music, I'll eat my words later. But I like being the Lars of the band, where it's like, hey, let's song structure this a little bit, or hey, let's tinker with this. You know, I didn't write it, but at the same time, I'm adding my own thoughts to it. In terms of, I like recording. Well, not as much as a drummer. Recording as a drummer sucks. I thoroughly enjoy recording as a guitarist. Absolutely hate it as a drummer. But performing live, to me, there's nothing. That's the best thing to do as a musician. You know, clearly I enjoyed it as a guitarist, and sucks a little bit more as a drummer when you got to haul the equipment, and you're kind of pinned behind the drum set instead of running around the stage like I used to do barefoot.
Driving me nuts.
Uh-oh, we're getting a little stream issues.
Yeah, I just don't understand why it's like still just dropping down. It usually will do this for a few minutes, but not this long. And it's coming back up. Tripping me out.
Looks like you're getting a lot of people voting for Rivalry. Well, now you got Of Rivalries.
Yeah, I know. Now people are muddying the water. That's why I hate this stuff, because fucking people just muddy the waters with other things that, you know, we had it down to 2 things, and which was really one thing. It was just which version of it. You know, I started with like 30 different things.
Of Rivalries might be the best thing you got.
I actually don't even like that one, so it's not even an option.
Someone else might think it's great. You're
the worst. You guys make my life difficult. I hope the glitching, if it is lagging and fucking freaking out for you guys, I hope it's not too bad. I hope it's not driving you guys nuts. I'm not really sure what to do about it, except wait it out and try to clear this again. But I don't know what the fuck, buddy. The only thing I can think of. Try this real quick. I got one idea. Maybe about
you can set some wallpaper to the page. That'll solve it.
Let's see if this is definitely going to help lag out the stream. Like I'm 100% certain. That is definitely not the most ideal thing, but let's see if it actually works. Of course, it's going to make me out there. Probably going to make. So I do have one question for you as I get all this refreshed, and you can. I actually haven't been able to even really truly experience this. We briefly touched on this earlier. I know they're different, but as far as performing live, which instrument do you prefer to play?
Guitar.
You like playing guitar live? Why? That's
you're
an
closer to the
thing.
crowd. You're not pinned down behind a drum set. Crowd feeds off of it more. I mean, you could literally be standing right next to someone playing guitar. You get to run around. You get to interact with your other bandmates live. Or sitting behind a drum set, you're kind of hoping Ty comes over to say hi for a minute. You're kind of hoping Mikey turns around for a minute. You know, it's great. You can tell which crowd members are truly drummer fans. And I used to be one of them, where I'd stand in the crowd, and if there was a good drummer I was watching live, 90% of what I'd watch of them was their drummer. So you can definitely tell those people in the crowd, which is probably better. Probably the one takeaway I have for drumming live over guitar, but the ability to run around the stage, interact with the other people, interact with the crowd, and be able to sing without needing to have either a headset or something else, just better.
Makes sense. I actually like drumming over being a lead singer, believe it or not,
I could see that.
because it seems like the singer would get all the attention, right? But there's way more power and responsibility from a drummer. Like, as the drummer, you directly dictate the energy on stage even more than the singer. Because if the rest of the band is sitting there bored and tired or whatever, you're just fucking throwing down as the drummer, and one of them glances over, there's an immediately like, well, if he's throwing down, I should be throwing down. Right?
Yep.
Whereas the singer, he's just running around. Fucking no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Especially if his name's Jeremy Montoya.
Yeah. I don't know. I did vocals once alone on stage. Never again. I need something in my hand that isn't a boom stand, or something that doesn't feel awkward. Like, here's me just holding a mic. Like, there's just some comfort in having a guitar or having an instrument on you.
This fucker. This thing really. It's all sketchy like this. See, now it won't let me in here because it thinks I'm.
Are we still streaming?
Yeah, we're still
Okay.
streaming, but I can't. We can't see comments because it thinks I'm signed into this. Thinks we're doing. Doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, this is great. We'll get back to the comments in a second here, guys.
What's your favorite thing to play on stage?
Well, since I've only really truly done guitar and drums, it's definitely, vocals and drums, it's definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, man. There's something about sort of like the training involved, the discipline. Like, it takes so much more work to be a reliable drummer on stage.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's
You can screw up so much as a guitarist, but
Or even
distortion
as a
covers
singer.
it. Yeah. If your drummer's on time, it's acceptable for guitars to lag or miss a note unless you're clearly in like a spotlight solo. No, there's so much more discipline that's needed. It's harder to be drunk on stage as a drummer. You know, the drinking pre-show had to stop.
Yeah, for me, one of the big things was I was actually able to have a beer before we went live. Whereas a vocalist, when I did, completely fuck my voice. Like, even just a couple drops, like one beer, like something, my voice would be like record skipping.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell was that? Yeah, you know, I think it's almost for me more part of the music. Whereas the singer, I don't know how to.
There's
Maybe it'd
always
be
that
different if I was
differentiation.
like a Montoya where I was singing. It might be different to be out there being.
Sure.
But I wasn't. I mean, I sang a little bit, good front man, played big crowds and all that. But like, I was in a metal band. I was screaming.
Yeah.
And cool as that is to be that guy out there, like that, you know, powerful, fucking heavy, badass personality. It also at the same, I don't know. I never felt like I got respect as a musician.
Sure.
No one was like, oh, no one ever would say that to you if you're the. It was really hard for me to enjoy that ass.
Yeah.
Whereas as a drummer, I'm able to hide behind my instrument, just really focus on musical performer.
Yeah.
How entertaining can I be playing parts? I don't really actually have to worry about interacting.
Right.
Any of that weird shit.
So
I don't know. That's a long-winded bullshit answer.
So back to the question of the four reasons why people play music. So what do you think I fall under in that 4 category range?
It'd probably be fame, because you said you love to perform and play. So there's some sort of adulation or attention, something you're getting out of that.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would
it's
call
definitely
it
not
fame.
money.
Yeah,
It's
not
definitely
money.
not pussy, because you're a married man, you know?
Yeah, that was never
And it's
my shtick
definitely not
anyway.
power, because that's not really how that works, you know?
Yeah.
Just loving performing live. It's something where you'd like, okay, let's figure it out, and it would be under that same category. The enjoyment of writing music and seeing other people enjoy it in the crowd while you're performing it, that's the same thing, you know? That's
I think
all
on some
eyes on
aspect.
you.
Yeah, I don't know,
but
I don't know
you
if I
tell
truly
me.
feel like it's fame. I get where you're going with that. At the same time, I don't want to be famous. You know, I'm not running my own podcast, putting content up on YouTube, you know, not saying that, you know, I'm assuming for you, there's a little bit of the, hey, I want the attention for it, or that's why I'm doing it, or I want to have the living off of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely money.
Yep.
I'm doing it for money. Because if it was just me loving music, I mean, I've been writing music my whole life.
Yeah.
But I want to put it out there, because if I'm going to go to work every day, I would rather be doing this, something I love, versus going and working in an office.
Yeah.
Or in a machine shop, or selling cars or houses or real estate or whatever. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of us have to still do that other thing.
Yeah.
So for me, the reason I put so much energy and focus, and the reason I prioritize it, is because I'm hoping we can make enough money off of it to where this can be my job. For me, when I say money, it's not I want to be Joe Rogan and host Fear Factor and get $100 million Spotify deal. No. Let me make 30 grand a year making music, 30 grand a year doing the podcast. And if I'm lucky, I make 30 grand a year doing something else. I'm not going to be a rich man, probably be able to get my kids into a half-ass college, you know,
Right.
but I'm not poor. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And I just want to do all of that doing things I really enjoy instead of slaving for some other asshole so he can go play golf every day. Shout out to Chuck.
I think you bring that up every podcast I've seen, which is hilarious.
My old boss just happened to go play golf on every Wednesday. And it was hilarious because I told him that story in my interview. He's one of those things where I could become financially independent even through his business. And I was like, because if this is the real deal that you're selling here, like I can be the guy who to some other asshole. And he just lost it laughing. That pretty much got me the job. He's
Nice.
like, I go play golf on Wednesday, and that's exactly why I got into the business.
Yeah, I suppose end of the day, I'm not completely sold. I'm doing it for fame. To me, writing an album, like that to me is like birthing a kid. Like at the end of the day, you have something you created where you look at and you're like, I did that. You know, there's a sense of pride there. The show stuff, that's just a sense of an adrenaline and joy, kind of that same thing of why you go play sports, why you go play golf. What
makes it an adrenaline pump? Gets you up. Because that's like some alpha male shit. It gets your adrenaline going. Real seeking.
Well, I think that's just part of playing heavy music a little bit, is the energy that you bring to the table or the energy you put out on stage. And then, yeah, I suppose there is that crowd reaction of them feeding off of it. But at the end of the day, I like the feeling that at the end of it, I worked out, I performed, I hopefully entertained some people. But I don't know if I would equate that to fame because I don't necessarily want to be famous. And I don't know if I truly love the adoration, because when the show's over, I kind of want to go crawl back in my hole.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're kind of a little bit of a herb.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Stop.
That's not what I was trying to do. Sorry. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I don't think they did. Shouldn't have been playing. Trying to get these chats back up.
Got your dog hanging out below me.
Oh,
he's been a quiet toe biter.
Gee, he's usually rude. I usually have to kick her out.
I didn't expect you with two tiny dogs.
I got 4.
You got 4 tiny dogs.
4 tiny dogs. No, I'm a big dog guy, but back in the day when we got this first one here, I wasn't with my wife. I was with another girl, and she wanted a Chihuahua. I wanted a Rottweiler. So I got a Chihuahua mixed with a wiener dog that looked like a Rottweiler puppy. And then she got fat. So now she looks nothing like a Rottweiler in any way, shape, or form at all.
Well, I can admire the compromise there or the negotiation that went into your dog.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I had a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
No, if I had a Rottweiler, she'd probably be dead by now. Seriously, because this dog's like 12 years old right now. Yeah, 11, something like that. Fuck, dude. I can tell you her birth date, but I can't exactly tell you.
How old at this point?
Oh, no.
No. Yeah. Coming from an industry that I work at where we negotiate all the time for stuff, it's funny to see negotiations over a dog.
Well, you want this and I want this, so let's do this.
Yep, let's meet in the middle somewhere. What's acceptable? And to you, losing dog size was acceptable to get the look of the dog you wanted.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much exactly what it was. Let's see if we can pull this video off. I'm gonna try it. It was playing. See, when you showed up earlier, it was playing perfectly.
Fine. Yeah,
and I just fucking don't understand. Good man. It's every podcast. There's something that pops up, you know. But again, this is why we need you guys to actually. I know the audio is working fine, but the video is probably glitchy as hell. So I'm very concerned as to how this is going to look when I play a music video. But if it's bad, we're just going to cut it off and back.
Without
Yeah, I like it, dude.
Nice.
Good. It reminds me of a couple different things. It's weird. So part of it kind of reminds me of Dying Euphoria. Some of the vocals remind me, like some of the patterns and some of the way I deliver things reminds me of Dying Euphoria. And then I'm not sure which European band it is. There was like a European band that inspired a lot of the metalcore acts. I want to say like In Flames or Soil
There's definitely
Work
some.
or
Well, you
one
name,
of
you name
those.
two band. We have a test song that's literally like Soil Flames.
Really?
That's the working title or something. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, you just named two bands that at least one of the band members definitely draws from. I definitely like In Flames a lot myself. So,
But I like it, man. It's tight. It's tight. That's always the most important thing for me. It's like, is it tight? Is it catchy? Those are the two most important things for me. Because there's too many bands out there on the local and regional scene and, even the fucking lower level national scene that are too worried about running around and shaking their dicks at everyone versus just writing catchy songs. Tight, good band.
right?
Do that first and then flex your music. Oh, I like it, man. Checks the box.
Checks my boxes, which is nice.
Yeah, and that's the thing is music's always subjective. So like what I say, is it good or not? It comes not down to the style of music or things like that. Because some guys might listen to it and be like, I didn't like it. Like, okay, but they're good.
Yeah.
Like they're not a shitty band. You're not gonna sit here and make that argument. Okay, you may not like it, but like it's good.
Good. Yeah. Just might not be your flavor.
Right, exactly. And those are two very different arguments. It's like I can break down a shitty band and be like, "Oh, you're sloppy, or this guy's out of fucking sync," whatever, off pitch, off key, boring, subpar riffs, predictable parts, whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't always have to be innovative. Right, catchy song, be a tight band. Most important thing to me.
I mean, it's so tough to be innovative because at a certain level, pretty much everything's done has been done before, unless you want to completely go off the radar and try and invent something new. And if you're that, good luck to you, because even that's tough to dig up. If you're doing something completely new, people haven't heard it. It's harder to get them to catch on if you don't do it right.
Yeah, it's really tough. What do you guys got planned coming up? I mean, obviously you're trying to do something. You guys are shooting videos, so you're not, again, shooting videos. You're investing money into this. You're doing a good recording. You're doing all these things the right way. So clearly it's not just
correct
because you like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, if it was just all of those things, people wouldn't go this far. You guys clearly give a fuck. But what's the goal? Like, what are you guys up to? What are the plans? Like,
yeah, I mean, this is actually our second album. We started recording it right before the pandemic hit and then had to finish it during it. So our CD release show last May got canceled. We're trying to rebook that now for maybe August, maybe September. Of course, along the way, we've already started writing for another like EP or album because a lot of these songs are already a year and a half old. And for the most part, we haven't even played a CD release show yet. So we've been doing some merch stuff. We got the website put together for mirrorbeing.com. That actually looks pretty good. Shout out to Ty for making that look as professional as that looks and taking on website design, which, back in the day, you'd have to pay $5,000 to have someone build you a website. Now, all you got to do is put in the man hours, and I'm sure Ty put at least 20 of them in there to build it. But I think that's a lot of the story for bands. If you're willing to do your own work yourself and figure it out, you can get a pretty pro quality deal these days, whether it's recording at home or building your own website.
Yeah, if you're willing to put in the work. And I think I got a bad ground somewhere in here, and I sussed it out. One by one, I'm going and fixing them all. Somewhere in here, so that click. Oh, you don't hear it because you don't have monitors on. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Oh,
staying
thanks.
on that mic, man. Anytime usually somebody pulls off monitors, it becomes a royal pain in the ass. And I just realized this fucking. There we go. Now we're on. We were on you the whole time, so it was still.
Oh, sweet.
It was just there.
Love the attention.
Yeah, usually when people don't have.
Your direction was good at the beginning of this. And
I mean, you've also performed enough live to
Yeah,
where
back-
like it's
back
not
up
very
saying
hard
enough.
for you to like understand.
Know
And we
where-
talked about that, yeah.
know where the spatial recognition is.
Yeah. And you
Well,
had a
like-
guitar in your hand, so you didn't have the luxury of doing this. You had to actually just get comfortable and be like, okay, this is where the mic is.
Right.
Yeah, some kind, and I feel bad because it's not a natural skill set, even for performing music.
Right.
It's just way too easy to get. Just way too, you got to really know to bring that fucker back, and it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a couple guys, takes them a couple times being on the podcast to really get used.
We can talk about the music video. And
Yeah, where'd you
one
shoot
where-
that, by the way?
We shot that in Wisconsin at our guitar player's friend's cabin. And I thought we were going to get cops called on us or something because it was in the middle of a forest. But it wasn't really a forest because there was houses. It was in like a neighborhood around a lake where you could hear the reverberation off the lake. And the dude's like, "Oh yeah, no, my neighbors are cool. They'll allow it." And I'm
So
like,
what
"We'll
did you
see."
do? Did you guys play it to a click, or did you play
Yes,
to a
yep.
backing track?
Played to a click.
Okay.
And we just ran
So you
through
just
the
had those
song.
monitors on that you have on in the video.
Yep.
You just ran the metronome at the right tempo and you just played your song.
Yep.
How many times did you have to play the song in a row?
I think we did 5 takes where Austin was just filming whatever for the full band. I think I did 1 take as a drummer. I think the guitarists each had an individual take. I think the vocalist had an individual take or 2. I feel like a dozen times we probably had to run through the song or so. I could be
I
wrong
am
on that.
also surprised you didn't get the cops called on you. Not because
Yeah.
you were loud, but because apparently you played the same song 12 times in a row.
I mean, we were out there a good 8 hours, and I would say a good 4 to 6 of it was banging on drums, playing music as loud as you could, firing up a generator so we could actually get power to this neck of the woods. Yeah, it was a sweet location, though. No, the dude had it hollowed out for his wedding, and it made for a pretty sweet, because the wedding was like 3 to 5 years ago, so it kind of, the boards were starting to fall apart and look a little rustic and didn't look like wedding show ready, so it kind of looked a little metal, despite the beautiful background.
No, and it's really easy to go cheesy in the woods. It is.
Yeah.
Come on, you know this.
Yep.
Everyone in chat who's a metal fan knows this too.
Yeah, it was kind of nice having a bright video, something that didn't look like, hey, I found a hollow cabin that looks eerie and creepy, or this dusty ass tunnel.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah, kind of someone wrote one time.
There's a bunch of cliches.
Oh yeah,
Photos and videos. Staircases, brick walls, and the woods.
yeah,
right?
broken down
Right? Am I
warehouses.
missing any?
Yeah,
Those are the big 3, especially for pictures. The woods, brick walls, and staircases.
yeah, broken down warehouses.
But I think those are the big 3 though. Especially for pictures. But you're right though, like when it comes to videos and all the whole thing, warehouses is definitely up there.
Rooftops, but that might be more on the pop scene.
I don't know if rooftops are easy to go cheesy. Like
That's
I think
true.
it's kind of like rooftops are cool. They're hard to get. Like it's hard to get to a rooftop that you can actually pull this off. Like access,
Yeah.
And then I think even if you were like a subpar director, you could probably get a pretty good rooftop shot.
Yeah.
It'd still probably look pretty. But man, the woods, it's so easy to go cheesy, bro.
Yeah.
No, you guys did a good job. Who shot that?
Austin.
Austin.
And I would butcher his last name, but it's like Scherzberg.
That sounds right. Something Jewish.
Um,
I'm allowed to make those jokes because I'm Jewish, fuckers. Ha ha. You want to play one more?
yeah,
Let's play your other one. Because I got to take a leak now. That's how it works, guys. We play these when we try to go to the bathroom. Make sure you guys throw your questions in here. Ooh, let's see if chat's still working. Let's do this. Questions. Boom. Make sure you guys throw your questions in here because when we come back from playing this song, we can dive back into chat and start hitting some of these questions. It looks like the lag is starting to get a little better, so it's not glitching as bad as it was a few seconds ago. Hopefully.
Yeah, we shot the video in Wisconsin. It was just over the border. So I can't remember the exact city name, but it was probably 30 minutes past Somerset.
Yeah, you did answer. It is a nice bag. Shout out to everyone again. Clouth, Dusty, Sarah, Dalton. Shit.
Mikey.
Mikey. Shout out to everyone. Clouth, who's been in here. Cloth. I think it's Cloth. All right, we're going to play the song. What's this one called?
This one's Transitions. This one's off the first album.
Transition.
Yeah, Transition.
Transition. That's a good segue. Oh.
You have a lot of fun on this,
I'm
don't
a
you?
fucking idiot, dude. You gotta have fun, dude.
Yeah,
You gotta.
otherwise,
have
it
fun.
was, yeah, it wouldn't translate.
And if it wasn't fun, we wouldn't be doing it. I'm just gonna be honest. Like,
You wouldn't be on show 88.
my favorite compliment I ever got, though, and it's something I've gotten many times from people who've been on the podcast, especially if they didn't know me that well before. They're like, dude, it's crazy. Like, and then especially people that really know me, so the two polars.
Yep.
They're like, dude, you're the exact same person on that podcast as you are off that podcast. There is no bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
like
you don't
fake
change.
nothing on that.
No.
There ain't no, the cameras are on, guys. Oh, it's
Yeah.
like, dude, you're just like, that's because it means I'm authentic and that's coming across. And so, yeah, there's
You're
nothing.
the same Jared I knew 10, 15 years ago. So, yeah.
But one better.
Yeah, just that one level.
I leveled up one better, one level better. All right, let's play this link, and I gotta go to the bathroom, and then we'll get back and work some questions in, guys. So make sure you throw them in there now. Oh, Jeremy Montoya's in there. Fuck you, you piece of shit. We're not talking to you. Shout out to the ninja, Jeremy Montoya, the biggest piece of shit in the music industry. We're not talking to him though. So everyone else, put your questions.
He must be
in
late
here.
to the podcast like Montoya's normally late because that question we've already touched.
Yeah, we've touched that question already. And he refuses to comply. Shauna, I respect your refusal to comply, but we will break this down eventually because I'm
Yes.
sure you'll come back on. So eventually,
Right. Because I
It'll
had
be
horrible
once-
stage
it'll
fright.
be once every 5 years because that's about all as much as he can tolerate. We're gonna play this next song, guys. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Throw your questions in now, and when we get back, we will definitely start working them in.
We are so frozen.
probably highlight that if Sarah's still watching.
All right, and yeah, we're back. So you were saying while we were on break, you were like, dude, that 3rd Street. So your cousin did this logo?
Yeah,
or the
so
artwork
if Sarah's
or
still
whatever?
watching, her sister or my cousin
Hold on,
works,
let me see if I can-
runs Gaslight Creative out of St. Cloud, and that beer's from Cold Springs.
Gaslight Creative.
Yep.
That is a great name.
Oh, thanks.
It's not
Not
yours.
like
It's not yours, you piece of shit.
I'm taking credit for it like a true musician. But that was made by my cousin, that design for the beer for the company. And
That's super cool.
I think they did a whole bunch of different design runs.
I
for 'em.
actually like this beer too. We were joking about this, that I should get a local beer sponsorship. And I was like, yeah, I want one. Because we drink enough of it on the podcast where I would accept a local brewery to give us beer to drink on the podcast, and it would be exclusive, as long as it's a local one that I actually like. This is one of them. Because it's light, we can slam it. Nobody leaves here fucking shit-faced. If we were sitting here drinking fucking Summit EPAs or Surly's,
Yeah.
Furious, 4 deep, half the people I know would be tanked. I mean, I can drink 6 or 8 of those, but I'm still tanked at 6 or 8. But that's not a normal. But these are like Coors Light, basically. You know what I mean? They're super light, very low alcohol,
Easy to drink.
super easy to drink, and all of a sudden you pointed that out, and you're like, "What the fuck? Wait a minute! I think." So shout out to these guys. Shout out to anybody that wants to sponsor the podcast. It's free advertising for you guys. It's cheap. Well, not free. It's cheap advertising for you guys. And
Lift Bridge. This berry blonde is actually surprisingly tasty. So
That's what
if
I
you
said
would like
too
to
during the
sponsor
last break.
podcast, finishes dry and smooth. Thank you.
yeah, during the last break when we played the last song, we were talking about this one. And it's surprisingly good. The Lift Bridge Berry Blonde. It's not juicy. A lot
it's
of
not
these
a berry vice.
A lot of these
thankfully.
beers go too heavy on the flavoring, and so they become juicy.
Yep.
Juicy beers.
Yeah.
This is not a juicy beer. This just has like a really nice, smooth, dry aftertaste. It's beer with something
Again,
to
Lift
take
Bridge,
the edge off.
sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to me. I could use the money. No, it's really just like it just make it a lot easier to do the goddamn podcast if we had fucking beer that I didn't have to worry about buying.
Right.
Even if I had to go pick it up. Just not having to put it in my own budget to make sure, I mean, look at half those alcohol bottles. They slowly get taken out. I got to make another run here.
Who signed the Grey Duck one?
Chad Greenway,
Oh, nice.
Minnesota Vikings player.
Actual.
Number 52.
Yeah, I think you've said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm not a huge vodka person, but that is a vodka of choice.
Yeah, my boy at the liquor store, he actually watches the podcast too. Those came in because he was down there signing, and he pulled
Nice.
next time.
How'd you get Greenway to sign it?
He was there signing the bottles because that's his company.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was like, and he just pulled a couple of the bottles aside for me. I wasn't there when he said.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the real signature and not just
it
hey,
really
we printed it on there.
Yeah, and that's his thing is like, you can go verify it. Like he showed up at Central Avenue Liquors in Northeast Minneapolis on this day and signed X amount of bottles. I think they're numbered. It might not be numbered. Regardless,
I think I see a number on there.
that's his
five
number
something.
though, 52.
Oh, okay.
That's his number. But regardless, it's not like I was there. I didn't meet him. I didn't get him to sign my bottle. That's not what happened. My boy pulled aside a few signed bottles, like 6 or 8 of them, and I got to look through because the signatures are slightly different too. Because it's a round bottle and he's signing them fast.
Right.
So I got to pick the bottle I wanted. Basically, cool story behind that because he just knew I was a huge Vikings fan, and he knew we were building this mini bar because he watches the podcast. Yeah, apparently he can't get the Hibiki Central Ave distributor. We've been talking about that Hibiki on
Yeah, I
so
heard
many.
that on I might have to try that before I leave.
It's like there's just enough left if you want to take
I'm
a
not
little
a-
sipper.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I would need.
There's just
I don't
enough
need to
left.
rob the rest.
And I'm fine with it because I need to go get another one, and I have a secret spot that has several bottles. But that's the point. Is it's like it's about $100 bottle, so not super expensive. Not like oh my god.
Right.
It's not something we brag about. Is what makes that whiskey special is it's almost impossible to find. As soon as you find a place that sells it, they're usually sold out of it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Nice.
It's supply. It's not the money. And if they do a fucking classic economic move, that'll become $150 or $200 bottle just because of the demand. But no, there's a few places where it's just not popular. I got a secret little spot. And if you love it, I'll tell you. But you got to, we're not saying it on the internet. You can't go run around
fine.
and tell people.
I'll
And I
have a
swear
little
to
bit
God,
before
I
leave.
fucking swear to God, if I go back and it's sold out, then I know you fucking talked. Then I know you talked. You're the one. And I will kill you with my bare hands. Oh, man. So Dalton and I don't know if you watched the last podcast, but Dalton and I, my guitar player and I were joking about making a bass player questionnaire. First question is, how many people will you murder at a live show because you kill so hard?
Sound like dad jokes.
Number 2 is, how do you respond or feel about the statement, I could kill you with my bare hands?
I mean, clearly I just reacted normally to that.
Number three, the question was, and we're just going to like actually answer these guys and then like ask, and then wait for them to respond. The third one was, how do you feel about accidentally or intentionally seeing a fellow band member's cock? Because these are all things that come with being in a band. Like, you're going to get crazy threats. You're going to fucking be expected to crush. You're going to fucking accidentally or possibly intentionally get a dick shown to you. Like, how do you handle these situations? Because these are the things I actually want to know. Because by this point, I've heard an audition tape and I already know you're good. So that's not an issue. It's what I want to know is how you're going to handle shit. Like, are you going to, and the reason these questions are over the top is to see if you can't handle these questions, you're not going to survive in this band. Like, because this is cookie cutter shit. This is old school dad joke, fucking dick and fart jokes, dude. And if this shit makes you, like, you're too woke for this band, bro.
My band. My band's got enough of that humor.
In the old version of the band, or in the old version of the podcast, I asked a question to every guest. Now, this was when we were audio only. No one's ever heard this podcast. There is one episode of the old Jared Singer Extravaganza still floating out there. Pat Ruland. It says it's episode number 1, but he was actually like 3 or 4. Chilton was episode number 1. But I asked every single band member who was on that version of that podcast, how many of your fellow band members' penises have you?
I think I have survived this long with 0.
But
I also haven't toured with them where you got to all be in the same.
So according to my math, the odds of you guys sticking together and doing anything of substance is also 0. Because basically...
And I'd like to see this raw data printed out and how you've analyzed
so
this.
Basically is what it is the more dicks you've seen, the more time you spent together, which means the tighter your brotherly bond, which means the greater chances for you guys to actually survive to do something substantial.
So as much as I don't want to entertain this, we'll entertain this a little bit. So somewhere along the line, you have done some research into this for Dick meets band member satisfaction or brotherhood.
Well, it's Dick squared divided by the root of band members.
I can already tell I shouldn't have entertained
time
this.
spent.
But the side of me that wants to analyze numbers and crunch and make a joke out of this is also entering.
In all seriousness, you like crunching numbers. Okay, so Dalton and I came up with one, and it was to try to judge talent. Okay, so it was album sales. And I'm going to fuck this up, but it was like album sales. No. Album sales was the last one. It was like technical proficiency times. Yeah, it was technical skill divided by fellow peer musician respect times album sales equals talent. So you can run this algorithm with any band, right? So like, if you sell a lot of albums and musicians like you and you're good at your instrument, you're talented. I think I'm leaving one of the variables out, but we had this figured out. So you can go to like a Britney Spears, right? Sold a lot of albums, but no musicians are like, oh my God, Britney Spears, prolific.
All right, so
not
you
talented.
you want a lower,
successful, but not talented. You see what I'm getting at here?
yeah, and
like
you
Metallica.
want a lower number out of this score because if you're,
I don't remember how we figured. I think we came to like solve X. Like we wanted to know, is this a high number or a low number? We didn't even know, but we were like fucking with this idea
I think
of
given
this
your
word
equation,
algorithm.
a low number is better. Because if you're doing album sales divided by people
I'm
that
just
like
making
you,
the actual mechanics up.
well,
but like,
unfortunately, my math brain's like, what's,
your math brain alarm is going idiot, idiot, idiot.
I'm like, so am I a 10,000 or am I a 1? Where am I landing on this spectrum compared to Britney Spears?
Higher, because even though you have 0 album sales compared to her,
A lot more
you have
respect.
way more respect from musicians and technical skill because you can play 2 different instruments at a competent level. You see what I'm saying?
I'll buy that compliment. I think that's probably the best compliment I'm going to get from you tonight. So
You're probably a weaker performer than her, but so am I, because she is a great performer. Britney Spears is one of the greatest performing entertainers in modern day history, like so post 1990, basically, with digital technology. It's her, Madonna, Beyonce.
But how much of that is her performance and how much of that is the stage show that you're paying a production manager
She's a
to
part
put
of
on?
that. She's a part of that. It's the ability to dance and fucking lip synced. She wasn't completely lip synced, but to be able to, there's a huge amount of skill there.
Yeah.
Just not
I can
as a
respect that.
musician.
I can
Just
respect
not
that.
as a musician. I have 0 respect for Britney Spears as a musician, but as a performer, if I were going to actually try to talk shit, I would just be a hater. Like, she doesn't really have any holes in her game as a performer. She really doesn't, because she actually could sing live. Like, she didn't use autocorrect. There was some lip syncing, but that was because it's physically impossible for you to jump, slam your knees on the ground with the authority you need for these dance moves, and actually keep your breath without going. Like there were certain logistical things that were impossible. I mean, and it was more about the show than the integrity of performing the music. And there's some art there, There
certainly is.
Like, she deserves respect, just not as a musician or a songwriter, but as a performer, she should be in some version of some Hall of Fame. Now, Beyonce, on the other hand, is HOF in both. Like, you want to get into that stuff.
Yeah.
Beyonce is same thing with Madonna. Madonna was not actually a very good musician, not even a very good singer.
Yeah.
Great performer.
And actually had some good songs.
Didn't write them.
Yeah. That's fair.
And highly produced.
Yes.
She's notorious for not being able to sing on the spot because she misses a lot of notes. But Beyonce is a hybrid of both. Elite level songwriter, elite level performer, elite level musician. So she would fit into that algorithm. She's got musician respect. She's got album sales. She's all of it. So boom, top level musician.
So given your algorithm, who beats Beyonce?
Beats Beyonce?
Or is Beyonce number 1?
No, there's people that beat Beyonce. I mean, you got MJ, you got Prince.
Is Metallica one of them?
Because they play the instrument.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, like,
Beyonce
songwriting, you got all,
is,
what I mean? But she ain't down there shredding and fucking actually playing the drums.
She shreds her voice. Her voice is her shred.
I feel you. But I also think it's harder to be a collaboration group. I think it's harder to get 4 or 5 musicians to become Metallica than it is to be Beyonce and hire some fellow musicians.
100%.
And write.
Yep.
And that's no disrespect to her, because that's also difficult.
Yes.
But it's like being married to one person, 5. Married to 5 people is harder.
Would you know?
I can assume. That's why I'm not a Mormon.
That's fair.
I barely have enough energy for one wife. I don't know how the fuck they pull that.
If you're looking to have kids, good luck.
Between that and being in a band, man, I got enough wives.
It is very much like a marriage being in a band.
We're still doing pretty good, damn good on time too, man. It's only 8:20. Doing pretty good.
on the almost 2 hour mark.
Layla says hi.
Yeah, that's my wife and my kid.
Everyone's rocking out to the music. Nice job, Sean. Shout out to Chris Spicer. Thanks for dropping into chat. Jeremy Moya drops in, or Jeremy Montoya. Sorry, I do that. I know a dude named Joey Moya, and I call him Joey Montoya, and then I call Jeremy Moya. I fuck. It's too close. Jeremy Montoya and Joey Moya are way too close. Ugh, it drives me nuts. I keep fucking up, and I know both of them. Both of them have been on the they're both. I'm close with both of them. It's hilarious. John, what made you start playing music? I don't actually. So no, that's two different things, Jeremy. You're blending two different things. Why you start playing music is not for one of those three reasons. One of those three reasons is why you leave the basement. One of those three reasons is why you start performing music and you try to be an actual musician.
Right.
But that is still the first part is you're conflating two different things. But I do want to ask that. What did make you start did you come from a musical family? Were you inspired?
Yeah, no, there's definitely music in the blood. My dad was a guitarist. My grandma played, I think she says it was her last show 2 years ago at like the age of 86. But when I saw her last weekend, she was talking about maybe trying to play a show post-COVID as she's nearing 90. So there's certainly a little bit of that in the blood. But I think I gathered it. I mean, I'd already played saxophone in bands or in school. And I watched a friend pick up a guitar, and sadly, we'll go back to Metallica for a second, but he played Nothing Else Matters, where all you have to do is pluck a string and don't even have to, it's all one finger shit.
At least the beginning.
At least the beginning.
The opening riff.
Yeah, but you see him pick up a guitar, and you're like, really? It's that easy? Of course, it's not really that easy, but it was kind of like, oh, I think I can do that. And then you start fiddling around, and you're like, this is kind of fun.
That entire album is deceptive.
Yeah.
That entire fucking, because it literally, that song starts off like, oh, it's that easy. Yeah, as soon as the verse starts, that James's guitar riff to actually play the verses of Nothing Else Matters is not an easy riff. It immediately goes from pleb to like fucking super legit. James was notorious for that.
Yeah.
Everything sounds easy, but no one plays it. Not easy.
See, no.
Something he's doing in there. You're a guitar player and a drummer. Is it easier to play correctly in some of that old school complex shit, or is it easier to play properly? They both do some seriously fucked things.
They do. Lars, I can't get into the mindset of Lars. Like, the band will say, hey, I want a Lars style beat, and they're half joking, but they're also kind of like, hey, I want you to play a Lars style beat. And I can't get into that mindset of, hey, let's miss the downbeat and come in on 3, or you almost feel like you're that guy that's trying to screw up the song intentionally. Or they're like, you're an experienced singer, and they're like, sing bad. And you're like, I don't know how to sing bad. I found it easier to play Hetfield stuff than to play Lars stuff.
I think I would agree with that too. As well.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
Back in the day, Metallica had tab books everywhere that were official Metallica tab books. So
none of them are right, by the way. None of them are right. There's entire YouTube videos breaking down all of them and how inaccurate all of them are.
Yeah.
Like, some guys got really close, and that's why they're like, but it's an official. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if it. And I knew that because I've been trying to tell my little brother that for a while. I'm like, them tab books are bullshit. And he's like, it's official. I was like, that's like saying military grade. Like, yeah. My military buddies, all my vet buddies, they listen to the Shooter Lube promo, and it's gotten to the point where I just quit saying it.
Military grade, yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, you feel good knowing it passed military grade testing. Or up to whatever.
Made cheaply.
And my buddies, all of my vet buddies laugh, and they're like, it's funny, like, how little that means. it's part of a lot of sales pitches, but it doesn't mean anything, and it's not a high standard.
No.
Like mil spec is a little different when we come into machining, like military spec, because they are fucking anal. Like, I don't even want to bend those parts. That's how bad it was. But, yeah. I just quit saying it. I pulled it out of my promo, but it's almost like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of, what are we even talking?
I don't know.
This made up thing, it's just this made up standard that sounds really cool. This buzzword, it's like,
no, I mean, at the end of the day,
it passed military testing. Okay.
Now, circling back to the question that Montoya posed, I mean, ultimately, you pick up a guitar and you realize you can do it, and then my brain says, what's the next step? And that's kind of been my career. That's kind of been how I run all my relationships, kind of everything. Okay, I've conquered that. What's the next step? Well, once I picked up guitar, I found other musicians, and then you go to the garage in Burnsville when you're in high school, and you see all these cool bands playing live, and you get your feet wet with the scene, and you're like, I kind of want to start a band now.
Right.
And then it didn't take me long to find Montoya after that, especially when I was like one of a top fan of Subnormal.
It's always interesting. I'm trying to see how long. This down here
2
is
hours.
deceptive. We started, what time did we start? 6:30? Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You want to go to like another half hour? Or do you,
that works.
You got energy for another full hour?
Let's-
Do you want to wrap it up?
Let's start at a half hour and see what happens.
See how we go?
Yeah.
Jeremy has one of the most infamous quotes that has been texted back to me multiple times. I got about it turned into a little meme. It hasn't like made it on the internet yet because so far people are still, I don't know why, but they're like afraid to talk shit about each other online, like on all brothers. Like it's ridiculous. But somebody made a meme and it was, Jeremy, I got about 20 more minutes left in me. Fucking 2.5 hours. It got pulled out of the comments section 2.5 hours later. We were still rolling. That was Montoya's episode. One of my favorite fucking things.
That's hilarious. So Jeremy continuing to write, oh God.
Brittany wears shoes. Thus Sean is the better performer and dancer.
Yeah, no, Jeremy has seen me bleed on stage.
Yeah.
So
what is with the bare feet? Do you still do that?
Yeah, as a drummer I do.
Even as a drummer you do?
Yeah. I suppose it's probably less prevalent as a drummer or less noticeable or
do you go bare feet or
concerning.
do you socks?
No, definitely barefoot.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't like that slimy, sweaty feeling on the pedals. I wanted a little bit of texture, so I cut my socks.
Maybe I just don't have that sweaty of feet. I don't know.
What do you do for footwear before and after you play then?
Sandals if it's summer.
There you go. What about winter?
Probably the shoes I'm wearing now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or winter kicks.
I had slippers.
Yeah.
I'd straight up
you went
slippers.
Slippers.
Straight up slippers.
You are a guy after watching this podcast that likes being comfy.
Hey, man, I look all right, dude. I dress. I put clothes on. I'm wearing pants. Come on, man.
Oh, funny. I can confirm he's wearing pants.
They've confirmed I'm wearing pants. I've gotten up and grabbed a couple beers. They can see it. Come on, man.
That's
Come
fair.
on, man. Come on, man.
Oh, no, I was always a little bit of a hippie in college, and I think that always carried over. Something about the freedom, and I like to jump around. So
I'm not a germaphobe, man, but the shit I've seen spit and thrown on stage, ugh, I have no desire to ever be barefoot on a stage. Ugh.
Oh,
Y'all got some fucking big ass balls going barefoot. Jeremy Blake goes, but shout out to Jeremy Blake. He also goes fucking barefoot. I'll guitar player from DE. Played a few shows together when you were in with.
Yep.
Actually, no, I don't think we did. You might have played with Dying For You, but I don't think I was in the band.
It feels like I've
No,
played with
because
the
I was
band.
managing with her, so there's no way I was in Dying. I played with Buried by Hope, which was in between Suna and Wither, his little segue. Yeah, there's no way we played shows.
Probably not. The timeline's a little convoluted.
Unless Wither and the Tyrants played. Then we played shows.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what's weird is I think I'm losing bandwidth for a lot of that memory for back in the day. Like, I used to have a lot of like could remember everything, but as I get older, it's just there's so much more to take up memory spots in my life that don't involve that portion anymore.
That's exactly where. Shout out to Chris Spicer. Thank you guys for dropping into chat, by the
Yeah,
way.
good to see you, Spice.
Make sure you guys hit sub if you haven't already. We're still on that grind to 1,000, so YouTube will pay us.
Do they pay okay-ish when you get to
Yeah.
1,000?
Yeah, once you get there. Like, it's not like I'm going to fucking make $1 million or anything.
Interesting.
Once it's weird, and I don't want to spend too much time talking because it's not that interesting. Basically, like, making money on YouTube is the hardest medium, but once you make money on YouTube, it's the best paying.
Yes.
It's much easier to monetize right away on Twitch, and make good money right away on Twitch, quit your job money. But it's really hard to make big money. Like, put your kids through college money.
You put this
Two
stuff
different
on
curves.
Twist at all?
No, because Twitch is really weird about music. And they've gotten really weird about music. And I kind of have a good community that we're building on YouTube. So it doesn't make sense to try to split that. I don't know. There's a lot of arguments. So I didn't streaming live both right now because I could be making money while I'm still building this on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to talk about, especially as like being in a band where it's like, well, you see this is the direction where bands could make money, or any media, any venture you take on a creative aspect to put it on there. So I think it's just interesting to talk about because I don't think you hear too many, especially on the local level, people talking about it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to make auxiliary business where and back in the day there was only full vertical shows, album sales.
Yep.
Licensing, for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, video game shows, movies, things. Now you can do live concerts, live jam-alongs, live playthroughs, just chatting. You can do all these crazy things on Twitch where people can make money through that. Even do fucking lessons. You can do all kinds of crazy Twitch, and then you can come back and make instructional videos and breakdowns and YouTube, Patreon, where like once a month your own version of a podcast. Once a month, all the band members together at a table. This, they hang out. You guys drink beer on like a Friday night after, whatever and your Patreons, your patrons have an ability to basically hang out with you at your rehearsal after. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many verticals now, way beyond the old traditional four, that it's way harder to make $1 million a show like Van Halen did or some of the big time stars do now.
Right.
But it's way easier for you to make 100,000 member than it ever has been. But it's exactly what you said. You have to put in the work. You got to put in and make the content.
Yep.
And it just comes down to what your motivations are. Like some guys are in that mindset where they just want to show up, do their job, and go home. They have no desire to do anything more.
Yeah.
Those are guys that probably join someone else's band or join a cover band. But if you want to like never take shit from anybody and you want to be creative and do your own thing, then this is the stuff we're talking. Got to take that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't have the choice. There's a lot of people who pandemic where a lot of these not idealistic necessity. Some people were fortunate to remain essential, keep their jobs, and just simply go work from home. Their lives changed a little bit, but their income didn't. Other groups, they're completely fucked. Maybe they had a day job. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were a comedian, producer. Still, pandemic fucked them. Done.
Yep.
But if they would have had this other community, fine. It much. That's all I'm really getting at is don't pretend next pandemic isn't pretend stock market crash or housing market crash. I mean, we've lived, dude, at our age, we've lived through like 3 or 4 different economic collapses. It's becoming a regular thing. Prepare for it. That's what I'm really getting at.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be preachy or I'm really just trying to motivate people to themselves, stop depending on someone else to give you a paycheck so you can feed your family.
Right.
I was fortunate enough to see it coming and have already been preparing for it. I almost said prepping. I'm like a prepper. I am kind of a prepper.
You got 1,000 cans of beans behind the curtain here?
Not 1,000. I got a few.
Yeah.
A little bit of a prepper.
I mean, it does feel a little bit like a bomb shelter down here if you really wanted it to be.
Honestly, I've joked and thought about it for years. I should dig into that wall and like build a bunker on fucking no one knows
funny.
it's there. It's even behind like curtains right now too.
Yeah, no one would know unless you had a reason to dig behind there.
Right.
You fell into the wall because you tripped and stumbled or some shit.
Right. You wouldn't notice because it'll be a concrete, it'll be like a bank vault style wall.
Of course it would.
But I need that fuck you money. That's why we need more Patreon subscribers. Because I gotta have that money so I could be like Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser, bring in different contractors to work on different parts, and none of them really know what they're building. Even the government doesn't know.
Oh, funny.
It's actually kind of a dream of mine is to have enough money to actually build like a true bailout bunker. So if shit really does hit the I know.
Why does that not surprise me? Yeah.
It's kind of a dream of mine. Like, think about that. Think about the peace of mind and security of knowing you've got 100 years worth of food for a family of 6. So you've got your family of 4 plus a couple more people and 100-year food supply, which really means you probably got like room for 8, right?
So
that peace of mind, come on.
Thought experiment on this. So that happens and you're prepared. You go live in your battle bunker for, let's say, a year. Let's say it's a nuclear whatever or another pandemic and it's another year and a half and the pandemic just wiped out 90% of the population and you open your door and like there's one other person on your block or maybe one other person in a mile. Do you want to have survived that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because I don't want to die. Newsflash.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to die.
Let's say it's zombie apocalypse.
Here's the thing. That's actually the joke. All this shit is like in case of the zombie apocalypse. And I get asked that a lot, man. I don't even think I want to live if that's. Yes, you do.
I mean, same thing with A Quiet Place. Do you want to make a sound? I'm a musician.
Your survival instinct will trump
it probably
so
will.
Much.
I'm coming over to your house when it
You're
happens.
all underestimating yourselves. You're all underestimating your own willingness to murder large amounts of people to feed your own children. Like, that's the reality we live in. Because it's not about you. It's about the people we love. There's so many things going on. Like, yeah, y'all are some killers.
Yeah.
Y'all are some fucking killers, and y'all need to start admitting it, man. That's the only difference is y'all think like, oh, no, I wouldn't. Oh, yeah, y'all do some fucked up shit if you're hungry enough. There's a thought experiment, not even a thought experiment. They did a sociology experiment that it takes 48 hours in the right environment, 48 hours for people to start considering, not do it, but start considering cannibalism. That's how quick it happens. In a true apocalypse, like 48 hours, and you'll be like,
Well, now I'm not in the paddle bunker with you.
You look good.
Yeah.
It's fucking
so if
funny.
you're in the movie A Quiet Place and you can't make a sound, at what point do you sit there as a musician? You're like, I'm just going to go play drums, and this is the way I go.
You know, that's interesting because Beethoven was deaf.
Yep.
You know, so somehow he not only found musical alignment, but been able to write it without actual tangible sound.
That's a good answer.
He did most of it through vibrations, and I understand that, so music was still being played, but also heard stories about how he would write shit in his head, write shit on paper, and have people play it, and then feel it. So, I don't know. How long are we talking? Because I'm sure after a while I would just die from making noise. You know? Because in A Quiet Place, like, I mean, I'm mildly stuck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not probably surviving long in that scenario. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even know in that specific thought experiment if it's even a point. Because as a musician, I don't know if I'd survive long enough to even miss it. I'm probably dead within the first day or two. I'm probably in my basement yelling at you when the whole thing goes down, you know? Like, or I'm playing my drums or driving down the road blasting Tool. Like I'm dying on the first day, dude. I'm not a quiet dude.
No, you're not.
But in the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse experiment, you know, I'd probably last a long time in that world. A very long time. Because I am, believe it or not, a diplomat. But I am willing to fight. I am willing to do violent things. I am also like extremely giving, very resourceful. I'm extremely creative. And I know how to fucking build and fix shit. I'm valuable. And not only are other people gonna want my camp or their camp, but because I'm reliable, I'm also gonna be surround other reliable people. So not just liabilities. Zombie apocalypse, I'm probably actually doing pretty well. Quiet Place, I'm dead on the first day, bro.
Quiet Place, I'm coming over to your place because I know you're ready for it.
But
And then I'm going to watch
dead,
it. Yeah.
So you can just stroll into my bunker for me.
Yeah, I got it.
You'll just silently tiptoe into my bunker.
I've got your address now, so
You fuck.
I take over your podcast, and the rest is history.
All right, well, secret bunker just got moved. It hasn't been built yet, and we're doing it somewhere else now.
I'll use this setup as a SOS.
That's so fun. Never thought about other versions of Apocalypse. I always thought about the class. You know, the one I'm most worried about, though, is something I thought I came up with because I was writing this. And it was basically about the decline of society after a major catastrophe, but it kind of happened really quick. And then it's about the immediate need for just straight up basic survival skills. How fast the big groups fell off in mass amounts. So like you have these tiny pockets, 4 or 5, very much like The Walking Dead. And instead of running from zombies, they're just simply trying to survive, because basically everything's fucked. Except there's a virus / fungus spreading throughout the planet. It started a very, very, very right. So like almost big enough to kill the dinosaurs level, but not big enough. So a lot of people survive, but it turned a lot of shit fucked. Power grids, technology, sun got blocked, like all kinds of crazy shit, right? But it was really this fungus / virus that got dropped from this. And somebody was like, "Oh, dude, that's this video game." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, dude, you need to go. I think it's the State of Decay or something."
Oh, Jesus.
And then somebody else I told the story to, And they were like, "Oh, dude, that's The Expanse." And I was like, "God damn it!"
It is a little bit like The Expanse.
Like as soon as I come up with a great idea, they're like two different people are like two other people already came up with that fuck boy.
I'm already trying to like debunk it. I'm like, would a mold or fungus grow on a meteor in space if there's little to no oxygen or
right? Yeah, no, it would have to be.
I mean, that's where my mind went. Was like, can I debunk this?
I know.
Yeah.
But I needed a looming threat beyond just, because if
it helps you build the battle bunker.
Yeah, and I also needed something that like prevented large amounts of people from immediately regathering in cities and fixing everything.
Fair.
Like I needed something that would like systematically in a disease. So I did a bunch of research. Got to be a disease, but can't just be a man-made disease. Got to be something crazy. There's got to be like violent drama that really fucking rocks everything. And so I was like, a meteorite that brings and that immediately has, and then it goes into anarchy and chaos. The rest of the structures destroyed, and then you basically end up with these small pockets of motherfuckers can't even survive through the first 6 days. They don't even know how to start a fire, let alone gather fresh water or warm or build a safe shelter. Set up a perimeter to be able to see for predators. Animals start. You know what I mean? Like I started thinking about, and that's what I wanted to build my show around, was like people immediately figuring out just how to survive. Dude, okay, we got like the 8 of us. We found this really good place, but we need to figure out a way to like filter water. Spend like an episode. Find some asshole who's like, what you do? Charcoal and sand and charcoal and sand. And then, or if we got this and we can. And then I was like, and I found out there's so many other shows already up. I was like, I was so disappointed.
Watch more
I
TV.
was so disappointed.
So how much shooter lube do you have back there for the apocalypse?
Enough. That shit lasts forever. For real. Like, that shooter lube shit lasts a very long time. Because it's a 2-stage thing. So basically your bottle is split into 2 sides. So a lot of guys have one bottle of one thing and they kind of quickly, but the shooter lube, because it's a 2-stage, separate each thing.
Nice.
And it's cheap too. Bucks, if I remember right, it's $19.95 for the whole kit. And with my discount, you save that. If you want, you can buy like the whole package patch. Free shipping. Pretty good deal. They're a cool ass company. The only reason I started working, they're fucking cool. Right out of the gate.
Nice.
They were a new company. I was a new. Good relation. They're really fucking
nice. Good to hear.
I almost had one more sponsorship. I almost had a third one. They tried to pull the old rope-a-dope, the old switcheroo. And I was like, yeah, no, I ain't doing it. We're not doing that to my viewers. We're not doing that to me. Nah. You guys gotta fuck.
Hold on. So, okay, we've got...
Oh, he said it's The Last of Us.
Which is a game I own and haven't gotten past the first 20 minutes of. I better
says that's the video game.
I mean, that game won a lot of high accolades.
No, there's no hard data for any of my theories. This is all...
My wife's chiming in on my survival math here. Is it hard data for this?
Here's how I do. I prefer to speculate heavily with zero follow-up and then wait a few months until someone else makes a YouTube video about it. And then hopefully that argument agrees with me. That's how I do. That's how I roll. It's much more fun my way. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's like surfing, bud. Like you ride that wave, baby. Let's see where it goes. We're either crashing or we're fucking coming out tubular. Like that's yeah. You guys, you math and science guys, you live fucking boring and predictable. If the math doesn't add up.
I mean, that's what I do with my glasses all the time. I just never wear them.
I love it, man.
Oh,
All right, well let's wrap this up, man. You got a wife and kids to get back to.
yeah.
I think we can do one thing. We can play something in reference, because we've been talking lots of shit about Jeremy Montoya. But we can play something that's a mutual thing. I'll play our song that Jeremy and I are played for you earlier. This is the singer of your first two like big bands.
Yep.
And then my current singer. We played your two songs. You guys can check out mirrorofbeing.com.
Correct.
Honestly, it's the only reason I think that's a great name is because you actually were able to get the website.
.com. Yeah, and I do like shortening it to mob.
Mob. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Can you get mob.com?
I
Have
don't
you
know.
even tried?
Can we, Mikey?
Figure it out right now. Search that shit
Can
fast.
we tie? Can we add them if any of you guys are still listening?
Dude, do it. Do it right now. Figure it out. All right, we'll play this tune, and then we'll get out of here, man.
All right.
Thank you for
Sounds
doing this,
good.
brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Blast, man.
Yeah, no, good to see you again.
I hope someday when you guys are playing a show, somebody's like, "Hey, you guys on the Extravaganza." That's the
That'd
dream.
be great.
Even if it's just a couple of people, you know.
It sounds like you're okay with having new people, so maybe some of my bandmates want to come on here
Absolutely
and shoot
not.
the
Fuck those guys.
shit.
No, honestly, man, the biggest thing is just knowing that I have chemistry with them,
That's fair.
because I've had even my own friends on here where as soon as those cameras go on, they're like a deer in the headlights, and then I do all the talking, and it's really awkward. It's
Yeah,
like
I've seen some of those.
we're not naming names, but yeah. Long story short is I'm willing to have new people on. That's not the issue.
They got to be chatters.
Well, they don't have to be chatters, but you know, because there's also a balance to that too. You can't have 3 or 4 people in here that all want to talk. Then it's just it's a shit show.
Right.
A balance, you know, is what I like to do. Is I like to come see people play live, because then I have something to. You know, it's like a good jumping point.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen you guys play live, and you know, I really liked how you did this, and I did that. It's a great place to start versus like, oh, so like these conversations are easier because we have a past.
Yes.
It's a lot easier to do this than to get to know somebody on a podcast. And I've gotten to know people on a podcast like Diggs, the dude who's on the last episode. Sometimes it goes really well, like that one. Sometimes it doesn't. In group scenarios, it's extremely hard to control, and it's predictable. So I like to
Correct.
have as much reference as I can. And I'm just
probably
learning
wouldn't
this.
be a group scenario. It'd probably.
You know, like the group scenario.
Yeah, boy. Oh boy, I better get out
Good
of
thing
here.
your kids are young.
Yeah, better get out of here before this gets any weirder.
Just make sure you don't let your kids on YouTube. Or go to your internet browser and just block Jared Singer Extravaganza so it never shows up on search.
Oh,
No, but I was just saying something. What were we just super sidetracked?
yeah, of course you did.
Something about the group.
Just probably wouldn't be a group
the
podcast. It'd probably
disappointment in
be.
your voice.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah, of course you forgot.
No, but even just with you and one other guy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much nicer to have seen you guys play live so we have some more common ground and reference points, and we can hang out once at least before the pod. That's what I'm
Right.
really getting at. And I'm learning this. You know, I didn't know this 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's
trial by fire.
yeah, it's kind of like being in a band. And honestly, I do have some people that do podcasts at a much higher level that are giving me some advice. But much like being in a band, unless you have a slew of people regularly telling you from a point of experience, do this and don't do that, it's very hard to learn or get better at this without just keeping to do it. And you learn, there's certain shit you learn like in your own deal that won't be a problem for somebody else, even though they're doing a podcast. Their podcast isn't like yours. You know, you're doing 2 different styles. So they don't really deal with that problem that you. So even the advice I do get doesn't always actually apply. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in other words, it's very, very much like being in a band, because you could have somebody who is a famous hip hop musician or a famous rock musician, and only 50% of their advice applies to you in a metal. That makes sense?
No, certainly does.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm in a metal band. That shit won't fly over here. Mind your business.
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Oh, funny.
That's what it's like being a podcast. It's very interesting, and I'm learning a lot, especially the last 6 months. Learning curve.
Yeah, it's nice that I was able to have a kid last time he asked me, and then I could put it off for 3 to 6 months. And
I think I'm a little better at it now, so it was also probably better you waited. I just feel bad every time I say that, because like that means that the guys who were willing to come on early
had to put up with you.
The judgment and disappointment in your voice. I love it, dude. It makes me laugh so much.
That's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, brother.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of respect.
A lot of respect for you as well.
I dig you, my dude.
Yeah.
I dig the I like the cut of your jib.
You've had a good night so far.
Let's,
let me just plug the Mirror Being stuff.
Yeah, plug it, and then let's play the
before
song
you play
on the way
us
up.
out into the sunset.
Into the abyss.
Yep. So we are looking to try and shoot a third music video here. We're trying to book a CD release show for the fall. And go check out mirrorbeing.com. We're also 3 songs into what might be another EP soon enough. We've got 2 albums out there. We like to play shows. We're looking forward to getting back to it. And
Do you
thanks
have any
everyone
shows
for tuning
lined
in.
up?
Not right now. We almost had one for August. Let's not talk about that one. Almost had one for August. We're looking to try and rebook it. So
Yeah, I mean, shit. August is way too far out. Like
stuff's opening up quick. So
yeah, but you're supposed to be booking out 60 to 90 days tops. Like taking anything in August is basically begging for a cancel. Anyways, especially in a. You guys should be. What is it? May?
Yeah.
End of May. You should be taking shows for end of July into August now.
Right.
Whenever you booked that shit was way too eager. Whoever booked that show, I would have been. All I'm saying is, like, I know you're disappointed, but like, I would have anticipated that shit being canceled just because they had the tenacity
the ass is far
to
out.
go that far out. Like,
Sure.
with that many variables that shit wasn't happening to begin with. Like, that's just a matter.
I mean,
of
we've just gotten ass in the last couple of weeks, so it's as stuff's opening back up, we're getting ass now because I think they're trying to book as much as they can.
yeah,
as
and the
quickly
ones
as
that
they
are
can.
legit are going to be, like I said, end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
Anything farther out than that,
Yeah, pretty
maybe anything sooner than that, say no.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're booking an actual legitimate deal inside 60 days. There's too many variables going on.
Yep, you got to do all the promotion, do all the rest.
Someone's
of the
a
stuff.
little too desperate, unless the money's right. Somebody's like willing to actually pay you, then
Yeah.
then you play that shit show. There's not a lot of opportunities in our industry right now. All right, brother.
All right.
Mirrorbeing.com. You got a social for people to follow? You're on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. I think we're on Instagram, but Facebook's the more
Instagram's the
Mirror
Being
Being
MN.
Correct.
At Mirror Being MN, and Facebook is
I think it's just Mirror Being.
hopefully.
Yeah, just find us
We
for the
should be on
band.
that.
YouTube. We got stuff on YouTube
If any
as
of your
well.
band members are still in chat, throw it in the live chat now. Throw your shit, Facebook, Instagram, throw it all in that live chat now as we play this song. Because live chat will be dead, but it will replay. So if people are watching this back, they need to catch this.
We got it.
Xgirl X6091 just messaged me on Facebook. I don't know who that is. It's some fucking porn spam, I bet. You ever get those? You play
No.
video games? The amount of bots online sending you messages. Check out my fan page.
Oh boy.
It's bad, dude. All right, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hit subscribe. Hit like. Join the Patreon. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Thank you. There we go. And then hit the Patreon. That's funny. That one worked, but this one didn't work. I just press them too fast. Thank you. Hit subscribe. Join the Patreon. We need the money.
Thanks for listening.
Here's a song that bridges our relationship. Our mutual Nazi sympathizing singer, Jeremy Montoya, is the singer in both of our bands, even though I'm Jewish, and we threaten each other with death by physical joking each day. I'm just kidding. These are all jokes, you guys. Relax. Here it is. This is our stupid song.
Revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having.
You know
All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate the love. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe, and we are out of here.